Rick.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Rick.
How you doing, Rick?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Good, good.
Good. Good to see you again, both of you.
Um,
Good to see you.
been good today. Been going through some stuff. Found a lot of stuff that was kind of wanted to just talk about because the post that I was finding, I was like, people were asking, "Do you think I'm stupid? And do you think I'm crazy?" And
Yeah, like would you marry somebody with epilepsy? Yes, I saw a bunch of those.
yeah, would you marry someone with epilepsy?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
If
I
you if you
thought
love
that
if you
too.
love you love the person, you love everything about them.
What
Yeah.
lifestyle changes helped you a lot in controlling your seizures? Lifestyle changes that helped.
Well, so first of all, knowing what was going on, getting a diagnosis and saying, "Oh, that's what's going on." Because with me, I didn't even know there was such a thing, focal aware seizures. So realizing that's what it is, that helped because then I was able to then kind of like put it into perspective and also let people around me know, hey, when I'm like zoning out, it's because of this. So that helped my inner circle. But lifestyle wise, I don't go up ladders by myself and make sure that I have a spotter with me when I do things. So that's like one of the biggest lifestyle thing is I'm not taking chances anymore and forcing myself to get enough sleep because that's something that I've always been bad at. So I'm really, really focusing on making sure I get at least 6 hours instead of, oh yeah, I'll get three, no big deal, and then wonder why I feel like crap.
Right. I have one that says, "What's one thing that you're proud of yourself for accomplishing, even though it was difficult because of epilepsy?" I told
Let's
Kevin
see.
we'd come back to this.
Well,
That's
I would
hard.
say
Sometimes I do things and forget I
yeah,
even have epilepsy. Uh,
I'm gonna say in spite of epilepsy, I still have several my certifications, it's you know, that is an accomplishment, whether
yeah.
you have epilepsy or not, that's something to be proud of. It requires concentration and memory, and it's something I have accomplished. So I'm proud of that. Um, so, and I have to still keep accomplishing more. So I'll keep doing that. I'll get more certifications and a job eventually in IC. So that's something I want to do.
Okay. One
Right
thing I'm
on. So,
reading,
oh,
I'm
sorry,
reading
go ahead.
something that reading something that kind of made me thought of something I went through. Someone said, "Got a degree, memory." He said, "F memory issues and brain fog. It makes it so tough to do academia." Anyhow, I can relate to that because I was trying to do the test to get my GED, and it was like I would read the book part with the story and then go on to the answers, and then I'd forget what the story was even about. So then it was just it's like you have 40 minutes to answer like 20 questions. I answered four questions in 40 minutes because I had to keep reading and going back and forth between reading and figure out what is what. And it's a lot of confusion and reading stuff over and over and forget the last three lines of what I read.
Hmm.
There's that problem too. Um, yeah. Any problems learning things or reading books?
Well, so with me, um, prior to having the brain abscess and seizures and an epilepsy, I somehow managed to get a master's degree through all that. But it took like 4 or 5 times the amount of concentration than I normally did. I used to have a rock solid memory, and then it turned into I'm reading a paragraph, and if I'm not fully alone without any noises or distractions, I have to read that paragraph 4 or 5 times and almost one sentence at a time, and then write down what I learned, then another sentence and write stuff down. If there's any distraction, if the dogs are barking, I'm like, oh, and then all of a sudden I lost it. Whereas before epilepsy, that would have been no problem. I worked in an open office environment. We had 50 conversations going on at once. No, no worries. I could handle 3 different things at once. But after epilepsy, nope. That's why, if I'm working from home or if I'm working on schoolwork and stuff, I send my wife out to the store. That way there's less, even if she's just washing the dishes, that like blows my concentration.
Yeah. Forgot what I was gonna say.
That happens a lot to me too now.
Yeah, like barking or anything, quick noise, anything could take my attention to the next thing quickly. And then I forget what I was doing right then and there. Like I'm texting on my phone, then I hear something on TV I wanted to watch, and I won't look at my phone again for an hour because I'm watching what's on TV and forgot I was texting somebody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go
What
through
I've
that.
noticed that what I noticed that really helps me is I got noise canceling earbuds that they go in, they cancel like 80% of the noise that's going on, and that has helped me so much. And I also got myself noise canceling. I'll pick that up later. Uh, Noise canceling headphones that also do a really good job at just blocking out all the noise. That's really, really helped.
Yeah.
Um, some of the accomplishments on here. Someone said, I hiked through the Colorado Trail. Dehydration, overexertion, are some of my biggest triggers, but I made it. That's a big accomplishment.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Big hike. Another one said, I'm a mommy. That's a big accomplishment because you got to go
Oh,
9
yeah.
months without a seizure, which
Ooh.
is really,
Oh,
really hard for some people. 9 months. Yeah. Oh, somebody in the comments said I'm almost 7 months along. Medication issues have been the pain in the ass, but baby girl is healthy and still here.
there you go. That's something. Good.
Someone said, has your pregnancy given you more seizures? I know you have to adjust medications because some are dangerous to take while pregnant. She said, someone else said, after I had my child, my epilepsy went into a downward spiral because of the hormones. I had to have an emergency VNS implant surgery. VNS
Oh,
is the thing in your chest.
Yeah.
That's the one you got to
Oh,
use the magnet for.
I'm sorry. Yes. VNS is the device in my chest and my throat. Yes.
Okay.
and what exactly does that do? I've seen some people talk about it.
Um, the magnet, you swipe it like that, it, you can feel it, it tingles a little. Um, and it activates a nerve, it, the vagus nerve up through my arm and the neck. It stimulates something to control it. Um, so it prevents a seizure like that. I should be more educated on that, but yeah, it works very well, and prevents any seizures or anything. It calms down everything. The vagus nerves are very um prominent. Uh, that has something to do with it. No, I'll I should know
Gotcha.
more about this, but you
Understandable.
do your own research.
Okay,
Right.
okay, yeah. I just saw people mention VNS here and there, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what that is, and that helps.
It works well. I mean, I'm uh,
How
6 years
often how
seizure
often have you
free.
used it?
Um, Starting off, I used it a lot. Um, now I use it very rarely. Whenever I get dizzy or something. But let me think. I had a lot of the myoclonic seizures were devastating. Um, uh, about 8 years ago. And so I was using it a lot for that. And when I had auras or anything, when I felt a grand mal seizure coming up, and I would swipe, um, so I would use it when I felt a grand mal seizure coming on or anything. And it was extremely effective, I would say. Very, very effective in calming down the seizures. So yeah, whenever I felt a seizure coming on or a myoclonic seizure, um, it was really good at preventing those. So, yeah, I would say extremely effective.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Another comment. Someone said I accomplished getting my driver's license. Got suspended right after, but I accomplished getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
that's a big step.
accomplishment. Someone said quitting booze. That's a good accomplishment. That's one of the best.
Yeah.
Is that can be bad.
Hmm.
Let's see. Somebody said I'm accomplished of raising my kids.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Living in a different country for the last 9 years, even though I struggle with learning the language and having a gorgeous baby who is 2 years old.
Wow.
That can be a big struggle.
That's
Hmm.
interesting.
But that is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Let's see. Someone said, maybe not what you're looking for, but I functioned with weekly seizures for about 6 years before the diagnosis. I'm pretty proud of managing things that well for that long on my own without help or any understanding of what was happening to me. That's a good one. In 21 days, I'll be 2 years sober from methamphetamines.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
2 years sober is a good point.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone else said, I got my bachelor's degree in May. I'm 36. I finally did it.
Nice.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
that is nice. Okay.
It's graduation season, so
Hmm.
Yeah,
congratulations
it
to all
is.
those people. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Someone said, am I a bad person because of epilepsy? Me and Kevin went through this. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a 17-year-old child. I just wanted to hear your opinion on it. Someone said, my dad worries about me a lot, not only because of my seizures, but I also make plenty of bad decisions and I don't take care of myself enough. Of course, I don't blame my bad behavior entirely on epilepsy and the things that come with it. My question is it common to have lack of thinking things through among other epileptics? I'm on Keppra and Lamictal. I should also mention that I'm 17 and I have bad mental health. caused over the year for many reasons. Does epilepsy play a part in my behavior? Yes, absolutely.
If,
Because,
if sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
go ahead.
Um, I can totally understand feeling bad though. I mean, I felt guilty for a long time, and I'm not saying you should feel bad, but feeling guilt is understandable. I mean, I felt terrible for a long time. It was a mixture of guilt and depression, and I can see where a person's coming from, but you don't have to feel bad. You shouldn't feel bad, but it's a completely understandable feeling. I can see where a person's coming from. I mean, yeah, I mean it's depression's completely
I can
normal.
say I'm glad that the person
Yeah,
noticed, and able to
yeah,
actually say it. Once you're able
yeah,
to
right.
say it and you notice that, that's a good first step.
Yeah, right. You have to. Yeah, right. Exactly.
To go in the comments. Oh, Rick, what'd you think about that?
I mean, as an older adult who it's recent, I could go from blaming my genetics for bad decisions to blaming epilepsy. But in all seriousness, I don't think personally I've never felt guilty, but I could see where a younger person would. I guess it also depends on what type of bad decisions. And the thing is, not only does having seizures slow your brain down and causes, maybe like rational thought to take a back seat to impulsiveness, but also a lot of the medications do too. A lot of the medications slow down your thinking in some ways where I can see where bad decisions happen because impulsiveness takes over. There's no balance. And somebody who's 17, when you're that age, you're kind of impulsive anyway. So, having your other thinking skills toned down a little bit, I could see where you could get yourself in a lot of trouble. I don't think it's, something to feel guilty about. You have a condition. So I feel badly for people that feel guilty, but I also would say as an epileptic champion, you should not feel guilty because you're dealing with a condition the best you can.
Right. Yeah. Um, Sometimes I feel guilty, just like certain people's reactions I feel guilty about. They're just some people overreact, and I'm like, I'm just sorry I made them overreact. And yeah, sometimes I feel bad, like, yeah, okay, I could have traumatized this person, so now I have to be sympathetic about having some seizures when this person is around. Um, and again, I have to let them know this isn't something I can control as well.
Mhm.
No,
Can't
I'm
apologize
trying
every
to
time.
I'm trying to remember where I was at 17, and it wasn't exactly a great place either. And that's when I started drinking a lot. And I was talking about this, I think in the last one. Yeah, I'm just trying to be empathetic, and I'm not saying a person should not drink, but I was also very impulsive and very. I don't feel guilty anymore. But yeah, I mean, I completely understand this question that this person is putting forward, and I'm I'm there for you, and I understand these feelings that this person's has. But um, yeah, I was in a very similar place at that age, and it's completely understandable.
Yeah. At 17 with epilepsy, I think I was doing a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing. I was just sometimes I forget I had epilepsy and I'd be doing regular high school boy stuff.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, but things do change, and life that's I want to put that forward too. Life does change, and you know, it it gets it. Yeah, it can life changes. You know, yeah. Uh, I don't know, for the better or for the worse. I don't know. I don't know if that's a. I don't know where to go from that, but
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it definitely changes, and you know, us guys, we really mature fully into an adult around 25.
Yeah.
So whether you have epilepsy or not, there's that process still going on.
yeah, we're always evolving. Yeah, it's a process.
Hmm.
Here's a comment. Someone said, I think about this a lot. I often find myself apologizing profusely to those around me, not just for causing them to worry about my seizures, but for putting myself at risk against their advice too. I love swimming, for instance, and every now and then I have a drink with my friends, and next thing I know, I've made a totally not bad decision to have 3 or 5, and I'm bracing myself for the morning hangover seizure. As a kid, teenager, I was an angel at school and really difficult at home. I really don't know why. I tried my best to be a good kid. I didn't do drugs or sneak out or anything. Just had a real stubborn streak and loved an argument. It's weird
Mhm.
because I absolutely hate kids, confrontation, and suffer with anxiety that kicks me in the butt daily. So really off brand for me. I think we don't give ourselves enough credit. This is a neurological disorder. Our brains are doing God knows what up there. I'm currently working on gratitude instead of guilt. I hope you can sit with your dad and talk about this. Thank him for caring about you so deeply. Tell him it's not your intention to upset him. And you think it could be something you can't control. You just can't control. Sometimes that's all people need. Maybe he can help you. And if you can't have this conversation, I hope you can still find peace and strive to be the best person that you can be. Kindness, honestly, goes a really long way. Best of luck that you'll find your way through the trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Um,
mean, we got. I'm sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
I mean, our brains are broken. So the fact that we're able to get up, the fact that we're able to like be able to socialize. I mean, Kevin, you got certifications. Pookie, look at all the posts and all the positiveness that you're bringing to people's lives and hosting this podcast. I mean, that is awesome stuff. I mean, how many people without epilepsy are not able to do this? And yet, you know, you both are good examples of, hey, we're still able to do this type of thing. And when you read comments of what people write, okay, they're able to do this, they're able to do that. Yes, there's limitations, but again, our brains are broken and yet we're still able to do stuff. I mean, that to me is awesome.
Yeah, being that I
And
don't have a job, there's some people that were like, um, there's other things you need to find to do. You shouldn't have a podcast. You shouldn't start a podcast. It's not going to get you anywhere. You have kids and a family. All of it is understandable, but it's like, this helps. It
Mhm.
helps pass time. It helps mental health, especially mine. And being able, people telling me that it helps them feels good. And
Right?
it's actually doing something.
Yeah, you're
Um,
making a difference, dude.
I don't have anyone sponsoring me or paying me for it, but it's still something to do. It makes people feel good.
mhm.
Makes me feel good. Um, yeah, I found something that said, how often do religious people try to pray away your epilepsy? I've got that so many times, just like, let's pray on it. Come here, let's pray. Anyway, I'll read it. It says, every time I've known a religious person, they've always want to pray it away. I let them do it because I'm not rude. I always find it humorous. I do too. I just don't say anything. I just like, go ahead, pray.
Okay.
It's gonna happen.
And if it doesn't do you any harm, they feel better about it, and it's not doing you any harm. So,
Right.
it's fine.
I mean, like, don't take 5 minutes, but yeah. Gotcha. One of the comments, someone said, too often my father said I need to stop taking the meds because of only Jesus could save me. We don't talk anymore, but I've been seizure free for a couple years. No thanks to him, but thanks to my meds. Nice. That sucks. Yeah. That's like these people telling me I shouldn't be doing the podcast. It's just stuff people tell you, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. This is safe. I'm not putting myself in harm.
Right?
Yeah. So another comment says, depends. Those that know will pray for easy recovery after one occurs. While those are there that don't know, they still think it's demon possessing, that they will try casting away the demon. My parents were the later. My parents were there later to some of my friends until they realized it wasn't demon possession, but an actual health issue after I got hit with a seizure. Yeah, I've heard people say they thought it was demon possessed or coming down off of drugs and stuff like that. And yeah, that sucks. Some people,
Very sorry for you. That's terrible.
yeah, I've heard of people getting Narcan because they think they're overdosing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's messed up. Gotta have more awareness to this because giving someone
Oh,
Narcan
definitely.
could be bad.
Mm-hmm. Tying somebody down on a gurney. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm looking at getting one of those bracelets. That way people can quickly see, oh, there's a medical thing going on.
Yeah. Let's see one there.
We definitely need more education. That's what I mentioned earlier. We need education about disabilities in general, and
Gotta
yeah,
normalize having it.
yeah, yeah. People,
Something I went through earlier. Someone said banned from the mall for having a seizure. I'm gonna read this. It says, I am furious. Yesterday I was approached by mall security. I was told that I was banned for a year because I apparently threw a bottle in Kohl's bookstore last week. I don't recall doing such a thing. They claim to have it on camera, yet they won't show me. Furthermore, I was at Kohl's bookstore the day before the seizure, and I was talking to an employee, getting them to see if they have a book in stock. They didn't. Nothing was said to me about it, and I came back the next day with no problem. The store hasn't said anything, but the security has said I shouldn't come. The only way I can see for security to be right is for it to have been during a seizure. I've had incidents where I would do strange things in blackout seizure, like turn off a movie while watching it, or rip the towel off a towel rack in the bathroom during a blackout seizure and tear down the rack. Has anyone else done bizarre things during a seizure? Yes. Said I can't afford a lawyer to deal with this so far. So far, I haven't been charged with anything. At least I usually only go to the mall because of the movie theater. I don't need it for anything else. I had bad experiences there in the past due to my seizures. They won't listen to the fact that I have epilepsy either. I'm so fucking sick and tired of this being villainized because of epilepsy. They refuse to listen to the fact that there's more than one type of seizure. Some people were accusing me of trespassing. I didn't trespass. I was not banned when it happened. Furthermore, pro bono lawyers do not exist here. I've checked. I get it. My role is to be a scapegoat. I'm always at fault. I wasn't asking for advice. I was wondering if anyone else had blackout seizures. I'm sorry that you didn't understand the question. I understood, and I've had blackout seizures, and I understand totally. I understand exactly where you're coming from, 100%. Wake up in situations that I'm lucky people helped me and not hurt me. Yeah, things could have been way worse.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually discrimination, though, right? You like discriminate because you have epilepsy or something. Can't tell people they can't come to the mall because they had a seizure. Isn't that a lawsuit?
Right. It sounds like one to me.
Yeah. I heard someone say something about getting a felony. Hold on one second. Someone says, I'm starting to get discouraged. Today was my first time in a while dealing with multiple deja vu episodes in one day. I'm not going to say that it's seizures or epilepsy, but I'm 100% sure it is which is why I post here for the community advice. I had two of these happen to me at work. A place that normally feels so happy and safe to me turned so dark and horrifying in a matter of seconds. People who I never saw before started warping to fit whatever twisted fantasy I was remembering in my head. I feel like I had weird scent in my nose. I couldn't tell if things I was hearing were actually real or not. It was most likely I could predict the future, suspecting that each person around me was going to do, and how horrifying it was when they would actually do it, only making the feeling worse. I almost threw up multiple times today because I kept waking up confused, anxious, and nauseous throughout the night and the morning as well. People start to get discouraged. I just say keep your head up. It could be way worse.
Mm-hmm.
Could be way worse. This is worse. This is bad enough, but you're here to tell the story, the bright side,
Right.
alive, and hopefully with all limbs. Oh, the one where they said it's selfish to want kids. I have 6, but I mean, as a female, I don't know if it's selfish to want kids, and as a man, if it's not genetic, I don't think it's a problem. Yeah, but I'm gonna read. I am in no place to have kids right now for a multitude of reasons, and that's fine. But is this fine to want one eventually? My husband is high functioning autistic, and I am epileptic. Recently, I have few friends. I have a few friends and I that were talking, and one of my friends mentioned that she liked how unselfish I am for choosing to not have kids. We have discussed it before, and I've always been on the fence about it. But when she said it, it sounded so absolute. I kind of thought that maybe when I'm in a better place financially and have a house that I could have one in, maybe my epilepsy stays under control for long enough. I understand that fostering and adoption are options, and I'd probably be up for that, but I can't have just one. Is it selfish? The way she praised me for choosing not to have a child kind of hurt, but I guess she's a friend and I didn't say anything back. Is there another choice for epilepsy, or has this controlled the situation? None of us can have children.
We can have children. I mean, I guess there's risk in everything, but the risk is, I guess, slightly higher with us, Um, Yeah, but um, it's all just choice, you know. I guess that's what it comes down to. You can uh, what what was the question exactly? Is it selfish? I don't like that word. I don't like the word selfish. I think it's um, I wouldn't use that word necessarily.
Understand that.
No, I don't think so. I don't. Uh, no, I wouldn't say selfish. No,
No, I
no.
agree. I agree because you know, first of all, if it's not genetic, like for instance, mine is not genetic. I had brain damage. So there's zero chance that I'm going to be passing that on. And there's so many variables when you have kids. Um, I've seen like through, previous generations with my family, uh, certain things get passed on, certain things don't. And, who's to say what gets passed on? Um, so I don't think it's selfish, but I also understand why you might be hesitant.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you guys ever get sensitive and cry after a seizure? Just curious because I've had some focal seizures during the day and possibly nocturnal ones yesterday. Woke up crying and exhausted, and my muscles hurt and wasn't able to stop for about 5 hours. Whole day is definitely going to be spent cozy in bed, trying to exist. Hope I'll be here tomorrow and better. Yes. Have I cried? I think I've cried after a seizure, but not like she said 5 hours. That's a lot. Uh,
Not that long.
no judgment because I don't know how long the struggle was, but
Hmm.
5 hours.
So I definitely get more emotional and weepy leading up to a seizure and after having it. That's how my wife knows that I'm going to be having a seizure because we'll be watching a movie and all of a sudden I tear up and she's like, oh, now that we know about the epilepsy, she knows that something's coming up. Or listening to a song, or even if I'm singing along to a song, my voice will start cracking and get shaky and I'll start, welling up and she says, okay, instead of going out tomorrow, I think we should have a rest day. She knows that, something's coming.
Yeah, somebody told me that I get really passive aggressive and I show the anger and I express it in a different way, but I don't speak on it. He said that's been a sign one or two times. It's different. Let's see the comments. Someone said, yes, I often cry when I come out of a seizure. I'm scared, confused, and disappointed. I'm not surprised. And after talking to people, I don't feel stupid. Right. For days, it's like my brain does a full reset, and I need that every now and then in this crappy world. Wow. Somebody said, yes, I cry hysterically. From the moment I wake up and not knowing where I am makes it even worse.
Which makes sense.
What lifestyle changes helped control your seizures?
I think. Say,
So, eating.
yeah,
For
diet,
some
a
reason,
lot.
when I'm home, I don't eat as much. But when I'm out, my family, when I'm at places, they cook. And when I'm away from home, I'll gain weight. Uh, yeah, I was spending like 3 weeks away from home, and I got to 192, and I went home, and a week later, I was 179, and I was like, wow, just my diet at home. Away from home, family, they make sure they cook, they make sure
Hmm.
stuff is eaten. Um, Otherwise, my appetite, I'll forget to eat sometimes. Not sometimes, I'll forget to eat a lot.
Yeah, I
Hello,
would
Mike.
say,
But yeah,
Stop.
somebody said one of their good lifestyle changes was quitting alcohol. That's a good lifestyle change.
Yeah, I haven't drinking like a few years.
Another one is have you ever had a seizure while driving? Someone posted that again. Um, let's click into it then.
Yeah, it was
You
a
had
lot.
one while driving?
Yeah, I was in the hospital for like a month.
I went to the emergency room, but I was out that day.
Okay, that's good.
Um, what meds are you on?
I take a 1200 of oxcarbazepine twice a day, 100 of lamoxigene twice a day, 100 of Briviac twice a day, and then 15 or yeah, I think like 15 of um I fucking can't remember the name of it. Hold on, let me find it.
It's all right. I know the memory feeling. I don't remember even the ones you said already.
It's
I digress. You got your camera?
where's that fucking bottle at? God damn it.
Can you turn your camera on?
Oh yeah, 1 minute. Yeah, it's clobazam.
no,
Yeah. 15 of clobazam at night. So
nah, I'm on clobazam too.
yeah, that seemed to be the final key to the puzzle. So my actual name is Eamonn. I don't have a sweet name like Mike Oxlong.
Anybody ever took Vimpat?
Huh?
You ever took Vimpat?
I don't think so. What's
So
yeah,
I'm on that. I'm actually on lacosamide, which is a different name for Vinpat.
Okay. Someone said I just started Vimpat after a failed run with Kepra. What are your experiences? Someone said Vimpat has been the best medication for them so far. Someone said I'm on Kepra and Vimpat. No huge issues with it, other than the side effects. That's always a thing. Felony charges by posticle. It says I was throwing up all morning, and eventually my roommate had to call 911 as I was foaming at the mouth and appeared to have had a seizure. He said it was like the lights were on, but no one was home. At the hospital, I was aggressive and tried to bite nurses. I have no memory of any of it. Completely out of character for me to try to bite people. I even tried to bite family members. Had to get a lawyer and turn myself into jail for two battery felonies. Still working through that. I've never had a seizure before and scheduled an appointment with my neurologist. Any additional advice? I think the hospital suspected I was on drugs even after drug testing me and saying that I was negative.
damn. I'm sorry. That's Never had to do that. That's fucking rough.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You ever woke up somewhere after a blackout seizure?
Hospital.
At hospital, yeah.
I woke up at someone else's house.
Oh,
He had a conversation with me, and then he just let me leave. But lucky me, he didn't hurt me.
Right? Yeah, that could have gone really badly.
And my foot just jerked a little bit and getting really clammy, so that's a myoclonic, but I'm all right. I'm here. Yeah. You ever get sensitive and cry was one of the questions before you came. Pre or after?
I've definitely, I think like afterwards I've had it. It's definitely been a thing. I thought I had one recently, but sounds fucked up because it's been like a little over a year. So I'm happy it sounds like it was a panic attack because I was grabbing my chest and like freaking out, my wife said. So yeah, thankfully it was just that, not an actual focal. So yeah, the
What do you do for work?
I schedule patients for a dentist office, so nothing too crazy.
Yeah, because someone said, what jobs do you work despite epilepsy? Somebody said, ironically, auto collision tech. I guess.
I mean, you're not behind the wheel. If you can tell people what the fuck's up with it, like, hey man, you gotta fix this. You know, all you gotta do is tell people what's up with it, and they're like, okay, yeah, here you go.
Yeah, that makes sense. As long as you can, investigate problems and see what's up, I think you could do it. No problem.
Someone said
Strangely,
I'm a children's nurse.
a lot of the jobs in my city require driver's license.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's one of the most annoying, like one of the most fucking annoying things. It's
I
like,
don't
oh,
know why. I can't figure it out. Like it'll be like a administrative assistance, and they require a driver's license. I can't figure out why.
I I don't think it's intended to like weed people out, but it's like for a lot of them it's not. I think it's more just like a will you be able to like show up for like the work, but also at the same time it's like okay, I feel like a lot of companies are saying like can you drive, it's kind of getting away with like, oh, are you able to drive? Oh, you're not. Why? This medical condition? Okay, sorry, we can't get you.
That's people in my city don't drive.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. I mean, like it's bizarre. I mean, I think it is to weed people out.
Yeah. It's kind of fucked up, really. Really think they wish people would lobby against that because it's weeding people out.
Yeah, some people don't understand that asking somebody to take you somewhere every time sucks.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Some people they tell you, oh, you can't go on a bus. Well, of course, shouldn't be alone. Shouldn't be somewhere on a bus, on a train or something. But then no one can take you anywhere at that time when you need to be there. It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also, the I don't know. It's like in your guys' area. in bigger cities, it's a lot easier to get by using public transpo. The public transportation around my city is not, you know, not very great.
Right.
Kind of why a dream would be to move to Chicago and just have like a, you know, you don't have to worry about transportation. Got to worry about not worry, but like might have to deal with the people in the public transpo, but it's like it's incredibly accessible. Like you don't have to worry and, like you said, ask people for a ride because it's annoying. Also, some people are like, I love my sister to death, but I stopped asking her for rides because it's just like, for the sake of our relationship as like a brother and sister, I think it's best that I don't ask because you're kind of.
Totally understand that. There's so many people that I just be like, they have a car, I need to get there, but I don't want to ask this person.
Yeah.
I really want to get there, but I don't want to ask this person.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a seizure in public? Anybody?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I had two at a place I was working at for a bit, and then they had, it was like a restaurant, and I had one in like the dining room, and then no customers were there, and then I had one in the toilet later. Pretty sure that's why I never got like called again to do another shift, so it was basically getting fired without getting fired. And I'm like, you fucking dickhead.
Yeah, I've had one at every job I was at. The one that was the worst was when I was at Krispy Kreme. I fell into the fryer, so I got that.
Oof.
Oh fuck.
Ouch.
Uh, yeah, I had like blisters on my fingers and stuff, and they hurt so bad that I didn't feel it. So I stuck it with a thread and needle, and they just popped, and it was gross, but it didn't hurt anymore. It just felt like they were gonna bust if I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, having one at Krispy Kreme, there was that, and then I had one at a restaurant. Luckily, I was washing dishes only. I've had a seizure at the register, being a cashier, and with that one, I always like felt like I've seen people leave work for like small things, but when I had a seizure at the register, after the ambulance left, she asked me, "Did I want to stay?" Of course, I said yeah because I needed the money, but I was just like, people don't look at it as serious. It's not a big deal. Epilepsy isn't a big deal these days. And they're like, "Okay, you had a seizure. You're right. Go on about your day." Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely still an issue. It's like, because I had like a vocal at work, and I'll just like, I haven't had one in a while. Thankfully, it's been quite a while. Knock on wood, because I'm also like getting a new dosage of meds to like lower one. Yeah, I've had them and just like kind of worked through the day and afterwards, and yeah, the quality of work I can tell it's like, okay, this is literally just trying to get through the day. I can't pay. I'm like having trouble paying attention, and
You have tonic
quality of work dropped that day. So not like terrible, but it was very like very slow. I'm like, okay, I've just gotta kind of get through the day.
Do you have tonic clonic?
Um, no, I haven't had like full on tonic clonic since I like started meds in 2016. I was having focals for years, and they're mainly limited. Well, they're limited to pretty much just focals now. So
Okay. So there's something I'm reading. It says, "Does anyone feel the intense sense of doom before having a tonic clonic?" Um, yeah, I think I do. I just always have a feeling like something really bad is about to happen. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. More times than not, it happens. Someone said that's a part of the seizures. Rain, rain, go away.
That's a good one.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely feel something is off and
yeah,
something's wrong. I think I had the oh no, it's a doom type of thing once, but the other times it's like, ooh, something's off. Especially when I get like a metallic or a sour taste in my mouth for no reason. And I'm like, oh, uh-oh, something's coming.
Do you
I
know
never
any
got that.
triggers? You guys know any
Oh,
triggers?
yeah.
alcohol and like sleep. Alcohol and sleep. Not enough sleep. Um,
Does coffee bother you?
um, I I know it's like not a good thing. I don't think I've had seizures because of it, and but yeah, caffeine is definitely something I should keep in moderation. I love coffee. I just love coffee too much though. Um,
Yeah, I stopped with the caffeine. So
yeah, it's
caffeine-free sodas and teas and water.
okay.
Um, I was reading something that said, "Is it hard to talk after a seizure?" I've heard someone say yes. So is it
My
hard
Yeah.
to
thing
talk?
is, I'm sorry, again.
Oh, go ahead.
Uh, um, so with me, in my head, I'm talking normal, but people around me are like, I'm not making sense, or my words are kind of getting mixed up or out of order.
Yeah, I've been told the same.
You ever been around some group of people and you felt like I don't need to tell this group of people?
No,
Um,
No, not
yeah,
me.
I mean, coworkers. Yeah, pretty much just like coworkers, unless it's my like boss and she's like asking for something, and I'm kind of like out of it. I'd be like, hey, I had a seizure today, but no, I tell like friends if I think I'd had one.
Okay. Yeah, like this person I was reading, they said I don't keep it a secret, but it's on a need to know basis. So yeah,
Right.
I don't exactly tell everybody, but if I feel like I might should tell this person, then I usually tell that person because I'm around them long term or something.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like I joined a sports group and like uh, my seizures are basically controlled, but you know, I told like the group leader, I said, keep this on the down low, but this is just something I have in case anything happens. If I'm not a drug addict or anything, so you're always here. You're the group leader, so this is what happens if I have a seizure. Just I gave her all the vital information, so in case anything does happen, you know, okay. So okay, so there was an understanding. in case anything did happen.
You ever feel like people don't take us serious? I'm reading a post. Let me read this first. Not taken seriously. Said, hi. I went to the neurologist today for the first time and I left disappointed and in tears. I don't want to diagnose myself, but my symptoms align with TLE. I have what I assume is focal seizures. If you look back on my profile, you'll see how they feel about me exactly. At my appointment today, he began to say, typically people who have epilepsy bite their tongue, wet themselves, jerk around, and lose consciousness, and you don't do any of that. And I immediately said, there's multiple types of seizures. You're only describing one type. And he said, yes, there's focal aware seizures, and I do check some of the boxes for them. He told me to be prepared for an EEG and MRI that comes out normally because I might not be having seizures, but just anxiety. He was so hooked on that I have OCD and anxiety, making me feel like those who do have epilepsy don't have those traits, while PNES is so serious also. I can't help feel disappointed because I feel like he's judging me before I even have the test done. Do you get what I mean? I went to today knowing this is a possibility because I see so many of people talking on here, how people just chalked it up to anxiety and walked out on their neurologist.
What a fucking idiot. The guy's a moron. The neurologist sucks.
Yeah.
Person out there, whoever wrote that, I'm sorry. The guy, your doctor's a quack.
Someone said second opinion or hepatologist may be in order for you.
Yeah. I think
What is your PCP, your primary care? How does your primary care feel about this? My neurologist, I had him for 20 years and he's retiring in 4 days. So I was wondering, like, is this new doctor, is he gonna wanna put me on new meds? Is he not gonna agree what's been going on? And they haven't told me who I'm gonna have yet, but he just said he's retiring on the 4th, I believe. 4th of
Is
May.
there a way that you could maybe ask your doctor to help you transition to a new one, or who's taken over? Maybe that would help. Or if he could write a note about what's been successful with you, that way the new doctor could carry on with that.
Yeah, I asked him, can you find someone that that I can go to? And he was like, since my health insurance is at that hospital, they're gonna find someone to replace him basically, and he doesn't know who it's gonna be yet. I don't think he'll know at all, but he doesn't know who it's gonna be, so someone's just gonna
Okay.
replace him.
oh, your neurologist is leaving?
Yeah, after 20,
Okay.
20 years.
Damn. Sucks.
Mhm.
Yeah, it does. Does anyone still lock doors? I don't lock doors anymore.
In terms of like,
Just in case I have a seizure, I want someone else to be able to get in.
oh, okay. I don't know. I guess it depends on the situation. Hmm.
Sometimes.
Depends. If it's just me and my wife, I don't lock the door. Um, if I'm feeling like really out of it, so one day, um, I'll leave it unlocked just in case. But
Do you drive,
I'll
Rich?
say no.
Do you drive?
um, I'm trying to get back into it. Um, because they've been under control for like my like vocals have been under control for like a year. At least I think. I never fucking know anymore. But there's been no like confirmed ones for like a little over a year. So I would like to go out and kind of like drive again a little bit. I don't know if I want to still up in the air to see if I like did drive, like how much it would be, or yeah. Before I like transitioned like the new med dosage, I just went out in the parking lot for a little bit and drove to try and get into it, but I figured it's probably good to wait for a little while until I get used to the med dosages I'm on now.
It's not a matter of,
Gave up on driving.
seizures, anymore. I just haven't driven a car in so long. I feel like I wouldn't be good at it. Like
It
I
it
haven't driven
definitely
a car
felt
since I
weird.
was 16. Like,
Yeah,
I can't
shit.
learn a car to, I don't
Even
know.
after
It's
3
just,
years, I was like, oh fuck, I don't have the motor reactions. I feel.
I just like, I like, I wouldn't be able to drive a car in the city anymore. It's just like, I can't
Yeah,
do it. Yeah.
it's well, I just driving in the city in general is um well, like what's your city, like a bigger city or just like kind of the
Philadelphia.
oh Jesus, that'd be fucking awful.
I'm not driving on the highway or
Yeah,
anyway. Like that.
no.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would honestly drive a truck like in the country or something because I feel like that would be I'd be okay with that.
yeah.
There's no traffic out there. You know, but yeah,
Yeah, I used to
traffic's
drive
crazy
to
here.
yeah, I used to drive to New York City constantly. I was born in New York City and my a lot of my relatives lived there. However, I have a hard time dealing with just having multiple conversations at once now, so I definitely don't want to be driving in the city.
No.
Yeah, I don't even like being a passenger when we're in driving in the city. Just makes me feel uncomfortable. It's like
Okay,
we drove to
found
like
something
Chicago.
interesting.
Oh, go ahead.
Someone said my 15-year-old son discontinued Kepra, now seeing shadow people. My son, 15-year-old male, made the decision to stop his seizure medicine. That's not a good idea. I
Hmm.
agreed because I would rather he stop at home while he's at home and he's around. It's better than for him to make the choice as an adult when he might not have someone there to keep an eye on him. He had been asking for a while to stop, and the doctor gave his blessing after all the tests came back normal. His last seizure was 4 years ago, and they started 2 years before that, and were caused by is it periventricular nodular heterotopia. It's been about a month since he discontinued Keppra. I noticed a couple of weeks ago he was acting weird about being home alone, even if we didn't leave for long. Last night he told me he has been seeing dark shadow figures and is scared of our home. My parents cleared the land themselves and built the home. I grew up in that house. Nobody has passed away there, nothing prior as far as supernatural or ghost type occurrences. I want him to feel safe at home, and it's just very discouraging. Could it be the medication? I don't know how to help my son, or where do I even begin? Any advice? Um, Shadow people, I don't know. I haven't been through that. Then he's 15.
I mean, how if the person is listening or whatever, how I a big thing is like, do they just like cut it without tapering it off? Because Keppra, I'm pretty sure, is probably used for a lot of other things. It's probably got some mood regulation with it. Because when I was at the Cleveland Clinic, I don't take Keppra, but like they were trying to trigger a seizure to see where it's like localized to, like activity wise, and it was a fucking. I don't remember anything after like day 3 because they're like, okay, we're just gonna take you off of everything because we haven't been able to trigger one yet, and yeah, it was my wife said I would call her, and then it was like, oh, I have this other person in the room that I'm like talking to, and then so yeah, I mean, I had really bad delirium. I had to have a sitter with me because I kept like forgetting that I had notes on my head. And I would like scratch it and pick it up. They're like, no, stop. We go, okay, sorry. So, I mean,
Sure.
if they just like stopped it without tapering it, then that
Could that be dangerous? Just stopping without, stopping your
yeah,
medicine.
I
yeah,
would think it would be dangerous just like cutting it cold turkey
yeah.
at home.
The neurologist should have said like, yeah, we can, but we gotta taper it.
But also, but if you're having any adverse effects, shouldn't you also go to your doctor?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't mess
so,
around. You're talking about your brain here, and
yeah.
definitely
yeah.
there should have been some tapering or some words with the doctors, going through all that.
Had this lamotrigine and
So I take 200 lamotrigine twice daily.
so for a while it was 300 in the morning, 2 at night, and then I would do the trileptal 900 in the morning, 900 at night, but I asked her to taper it down like lamotrigine and just because I felt like I was taking it for years and it was like the cause of a focal seizure while I was driving. And I'm kind of like, I've like lowered the dose over 8 weeks. And I was like, okay, I kind of felt like lowering it over 8 weeks was a lot. And then, I didn't realize how even lowering it by 100 milligrams once a day, how much that can like fuck with you.
Hmm.
Because I was in a shitty mood. I was easily irritated. I had that panic attack. Yeah, I was just like super easily irritated over almost nothing sometimes. So I'm very happy she like tapered it down, but yeah, because I don't know what all the effects of Keppra are, but lamotrigine, if it's a mood stabilizer, so a lot of people have like bipolar take it too. And just not having that in your system and like tapering it down even just like a little week, like for 2 weeks was like it definitely fucked fucked with my mood a lot. uh I'm used to it now, but yeah, it was definitely not a pleasant person to be around sometimes with getting used to it.
Yeah, after
Um,
my first brain surgery, I was on Keppra, and I was up for like 23 hours straight, talking, having multiple conversations with myself and anybody who would listen, and gibberish and manic and talking super fast, and I couldn't get the words out fast enough. So I was quickly taken off of that.
Yeah, Kepra, I did not. Kepra I had a really bad reaction to it. Like they were like, okay, we're switching you to lamotrigine.
Do you think these pills cause memory problems, or you think it's the seizures?
Probably the pills.
I think it's the pills
It
too.
can be both.
I think it's just the pills.
Yeah.
Someone said 99% the pills, 1% the seizures. I get that a lot from people, that it's the pills. So
Pills. Yeah, definitely the pills.
how bad is your memory?
I don't know, not like awful, but like I do have to be reminded to do things a lot.
Same here.
The wifey's like, you're just like, okay, I think you need to set a calendar to do it, because I don't think you're doing it on purpose, but you need to like set a reminder in your calendar. Or do
How's your
things.
motivation?
Yeah.
Are you motivated to do things?
Depending on what the thing is.
Hey, um, I'm gonna go throw some of those other things I had a
Yeah,
lot of
before
stuff
before you
posted up.
do, I do have to get going. So I wanted to thank you, Pookie, again for hosting this. This has been really awesome again.
Friday,
And Friday, okay, that I was just going to ask when the next day is. Okay. And how long are you going to be on today?
I'll be on until everyone leaves.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're still here when when I'm available, then we'll talk some more. And Kevin, I did send you a couple chats through Zoom. I'm in
Oh, okay.
IT, so if you wanted some pointers and stuff getting into IT, you can reach out. But again,
Oh,
Pookie, it was great hosting this. I learned a lot as usual. I always appreciate you and appreciate this, and it was nice like meeting everybody.
I'm Eamonn,
Likewise.
by the way. Hi, Rick.
Hey,
Yeah.
All right, Rick.
all right, all right. We'll talk soon.
take it easy.
See ya.
Deuces.
What did you accomplish after having epilepsy that you're proud of?
I don't know. Can you guys hear me? I'm kind of new here.
Oh,
I found
yeah.
you guys. I found you guys on Reddit, and then we were just.
Yeah, we just kind of talk about everything about epilepsy. What are you taking?
Cool. Well, first of all, my name is Anthony. I live in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
New York. I was just diagnosed with epilepsy 4 years ago. Unfortunately, I found out the hard way. I was a pretty athletic guy. I was out for a run one day, and I went into cardiac arrest. And after 9 million tests, they found out that I had temporal lobe epilepsy that was uncontrolled at the time, and which I guess apparently started in the temporal lobe and then moved over to other parts of the brain, which caused me to go into cardiac arrest. Um, so I've been battling with that ever since. They implanted an ICD in my chest, just in case it ever happens again. I've been taking Lamictal. Recently, I was raised up to about 400 milligrams, and about 2 weeks ago, I started getting constant fogginess and dizzy over the past week and a half. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it goes away. So I'm trying to work with my epilepsy doctor to figure out, if this has something to do with the medicine, if it has something to do with the epilepsy. I got to go for another EEG on Friday.
Mhm.
But I mean, in terms of how it impacts my life, I try to live my life the best that I can.
How's your memory?
Short-term memory sucks. Be perfectly honest with
Same.
you. You know, um, most recently, like over the past 2 weeks, when I started getting this feeling, is when it really started. With the short term memory. Even prior to that, I wasn't as sharp. I'm not as sharp as I used to be, but uh,
Yeah.
you know. But I mean, in terms of like what my actual seizures are like, I haven't had any, tonic-clonic seizures where I've passed out or I've gone into a seize. Mine are more of like if you and I are having a discussion and I'll stop understanding what you're saying and I can't get the words out. That's sort of what my how my seizures work, right? They don't happen very often, thankfully. Maybe once a month, once every other month, I get them. They only last for about 30, 40 seconds, but they drain the shit out of me. Afterwards, I'm tired, I'm
Yeah.
exhausted, I got to lay down, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's sort of like simple chapter and verse my story, right? I'm also a single father with 2 children. I work for the utility company here in New York. Um, So, like I said, I don't try to let it define who I am. I try to live my life to the best that I possibly can. I don't.
Driving?
I drive. I do. I drive. I go out for drinks with my friends. Obviously, I watch what I do. I don't. I'm not like I used to be when in my partying days. But um, yeah. So it's interesting for me to get involved. I like it's to talk to other people you know who are dealing with a similar scenario. It would be cool. I think to have these discussions.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, memory is the worst, and I feel like the doctors know it's the pills or they know what it is, and something's got to change. I think it's the
Yeah.
pills.
I mean, yeah, I feel the same too. Like I said, I've had some discussions with my doctor, maybe try to back off a little bit on the
Yeah.
on the Lamictal and see how that goes. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. But like unfortunately for me, it's not just I have a cardiologist, I have an electrophysiologist, I have an epilepsy doctor, I have a neurologist. So I have a whole different team that I deal with. When something happens. So I mean,
I mean,
based.
can you just like, can you nix a neurologist and just, do you have an epileptologist? You said
I do.
epilepsy?
They're
Okay.
both they're tied hand in hand with NYU. So I've been dealing more with the epilepsy doctor than I have with the neurologist.
Do they keep in contact?
Yeah, because they're both part of the same. They're
Unit.
both part of
Okay.
NYU. Yeah, they're both part of NYU. So
Okay.
My neurologist sucked, so I had to get an epileptologist.
where are you from?
Indiana.
Indiana.
California.
You're out in Cali, huh?
Yeah.
All right. What
You
about
ever
you
had an
guys?
accident? Well, ever?
I did. Well, I did. So more of the story, right? So after I got out of the hospital, and originally they did not know that it was epilepsy. They thought it was just a dangerous heart arrhythmia, and that was the reason why they put the ICD in me. About 5 months after that, while I was driving, I had an accident because I went into a seizure. Um, I just passed out. Didn't cause any sort of arrhythmias with respect to my heart, but at that point is when I really started buckling down with neurologists. I saw one with NYU. I saw one with Weill Cornell, and they finally put me on like a 48 or 72 hour EEG where they picked up the wave from the temporal lobe side, and they said, we've been going about this the wrong way the whole entire time. It has nothing to do with your heart. It has to do with your brain because there's sections of the brain that when you do go into seizure can affect and impact the heart as well, like the arrhythmia of it, right? So, I mean, ultimately, what happened to me was I survived what we hear a lot of people don't with
Yeah.
respect to, I guess SUDEP. I'm sure you guys have heard that term before, right?
What word?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
That what word?
It's called SUDEP.
Oh
Sudden
yeah.
unexpected death from
Sudden death.
epilepsy. Yeah.
Been there.
Sudden death epilepsy.
Right. Right.
Anthony,
So,
does everybody get that fatigue feeling? Like sometimes it's just hard to get out of bed. Sometimes it's just really tired for no reason.
No, to be honest with you, no. I mean, my problem is sleeping in general. I can fall asleep. I can't stay asleep. Like I'll go to bed 10:30. By 1 o'clock, I'm up, tossing and turning. And by 3 o'clock, I'm back to sleep. And then I got to get up for work, usually about 5:36. So,
Fuck
um,
that.
yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Like I said, I'm a father. I have 2 kids. I got, I have
Yeah.
responsibilities I got to take care of.
Yeah, true.
But no, I mean, in terms of the medicine, I think the memory is the thing that's done it for me. Um, the short-term memory. I mean, that's really been the only to this point the side effect that's really been a challenge for me.
Do you know your triggers? Anybody? I don't.
Um, Mine have been if I overindulge in alcohol.
Yep, that's what started it with mine.
Usually the next day I know it's coming, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't overindulge like I used to, right? I'll make sure I'm confident about that. But that and then also I don't know. I think stress. I think
Yeah.
stress. I think physical and mental stress, right? I think they both do it. And it's weird because they're completely out of left field. I could be having a great day, everything's going well, and then all of a sudden, bang! I start losing.
Right.
I start losing
It'll
the
be,
ability.
I've been thought I'm doing everything right one week. Eating
Yeah.
and taking my pills,
Yeah.
having fun, regular day, and there you go.
Yeah, I take
Like, we
it
miss
twice. I
you.
take twice a day actually. I take 200 milligrams in the morning, and I take 200 milligrams at night, and I take the extended release ones.
I was an
I
extended
never get
release.
the
I
extended.
take 200 twice daily, but I've heard about those extended release being better.
So originally I was on just 200, um, the extended release, and I didn't have an issue with them. I mean, I still had my little episodes and whatnot, and they weren't very often, but they were a little bit more intense. And then as we've gone on and raised the dosage, they're still not as they don't happen as much, but they are a little bit less. Like they only take 15 to 20 seconds, and then I'm back to where I need to be. In the past, there was more in close to a minute, that I couldn't really get my faculties about me and get back together. But yeah, so last week I was sitting in front of my computer desk at work, and then all of a sudden I got hit with like this wave where like I couldn't really comprehend what I was reading, but it wasn't like a full seizure. Like it wasn't like a full episode because I was able to speak and I was able to talk. And ever since that day, I've had just this wave of fogginess and
Yeah.
definitely much worse with the short-term memory and whatnot. And just it's not something I'm familiar with. So we're trying to wrap our arms around what exactly is going on at this point. Has anybody ever experienced that before?
Yeah, that's like gotta be one of the most fucking annoying things. It's like the yeah, it's just like you're having just vocals. It's just, and then it's because it's sometimes it's also like you can never enjoy being just kind of like spacing out because it's like, oh, fuck, did I just have one?
Right. This is really bizarre. Like I wake up in the morning, I feel good, and then like around 10 o'clock in the morning, I start to get like very sensitive to light. Um, I feel like pressure in my sinuses, like and above my eyes. I don't know if anybody's felt that before. And then it comes and goes throughout the course of the day, and then like I feel like I'm past it, and then it happens, and then like I usually go for like a walk, or I work every day, I work out every day. I went for a walk before, and I was just completely dizzy the entire time. And it got to a point where, my heart rate spiked. I thought I was gonna pass out. This just happened about like an hour, 2 hours ago. And yeah, so like I said, I've been working with my doctors, playing, trying to figure out, what the next move is gonna be. So Friday is gonna be the EEG. I'm trying to get an MRI, but the closest MRI they have is in July. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Jesus Christ.
Right, right. So, um, Yeah, so I mean that's sort of been my challenge. It's just I was doing very very well. I mean, I'm accepting of what it is. I try not to let it define me. I try to live my life as much and as normal as I possibly can. I do make sure that I take certain precautions. Like, unfortunately, I can't go on vacations with my kids alone. God forbid. They're still kind of young. They're 10 and 11.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, but I try to do things locally with them that doesn't really put me in or put them in any danger of God forbid of anything, right? So I mean,
Right.
in that respect, that's kind of annoying for me. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while. I haven't had an opportunity to get into a group and speak to people who are dealing with it like I am, and I think maybe this is the next step for me. It would be good to like talk to people. We can have these discussions. We could talk about what we're feeling. Maybe um,
Yeah, I feel like it's just talking to people who understand you. You're not sitting there with someone wondering what you're talking about. You guys
right.
understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And how long have
Nice.
you guys been diagnosed for? Have you been has this been something you were born with? Is this something you developed as time has gone on?
9 years.
9 years?
I've had epilepsy for 20 years.
Okay. And do
Um,
you
I actually
So
had a car
sorry.
accident when I was 5.
okay.
I got ran over by a car, but I only had one then. And then I was in a coma, and I had one. And then 11 years later, I was 16, and I had one. And they thought, oh, it's just regular seizure. Next day, like later that week, I had another one. And they were like, okay, this is epilepsy. And it was because I was having it in web design class. So they thought maybe it's the computer. Photosensitive seizures weren't my thing. But
Yeah.
once I had epilepsy, they gave me that lantern first and then Keppra. Yeah. No
Yeah,
one likes Keppra.
they started me with Keppra. That was the first one they gave me. And at the time I was married and I had zero sex drive. I was getting very annoyed very easily, and then I started to hear about the Keppra rage that they talked about. Um,
Yeah.
so then they had decided that the next best medicine, even though the Keppra was working, right? But the side effects were something I didn't want to deal with any longer. They had talked about Lamictal. So, I titrated up on that to about 200 milligrams, and I used that for a couple of years. And then I started to get a little bit more frequent with the seizures. So from that point on, we kind of just slowly raised it. Like I said, I'm up to 400 now, which I started in February and was, I really didn't feel any bad side effects. So I'm curious if the length of it now at that milligram is what's causing these issues for me, and maybe I need to back off a little bit. So it's playing the medicine game, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys have been through this as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the right milligram? What can you live with without it really, fucking up your quality of life, right? What works? So, I'm with you. I get it.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Like at first, it used to kind of mess with my mental health. But then after a while, it was just like, this is going to keep happening. Just got to find a medication and find the right crowd who's going to support me when things happen like that. When I'm
Right.
out and about.
Right.
Yeah, eventually I just had to get over it. Like, this is going to happen. Take these pills and try to make it not happen as much as possible.
No, I'm with you. Like, I don't. I mean, I do see a therapist more because I guess of PTSD from what happened to me, right? And also going through a divorce and stuff like that doesn't help as well either, right?
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, no, I understand. Like like I said, I don't want it to define me. I try to live my life the best as I possibly can. I have a good support system of friends. They understand. I do wear I don't have it on now, but I wear a medical ID bracelet in case, right? There you
Yeah.
go. And a boy. I think I got the
I
same
need
one as you
one.
actually.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
need to get one.
It's worth it. It's worth it to get it. You guys single? You guys anybody are you dating? You anything?
I got a
Uh,
one.
Dating's pretty easy, I guess. I mean, when I try,
Yeah, it's not. I don't find it to be that difficult either. I find people to be actually accepting of it. Like it's not even like not even an issue for them, to be honest with you, for women. So
Would you date someone with epilepsy?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
felt that too. Like that person would be 100% understanding.
Right.
Like there'd be
And nothing
nothing
would
we
get-
disagreed on.
Nothing would be remembered. Everything
Nothing
would be forgotten.
Mm.
You have to bring a third person just as like to fucking remember you guys to do shit. It's like, hey, you gotta do this. Like, oh yeah, shit, my bad.
Yeah, I'd be like, today is your day to write stuff down.
Yeah.
Someone to take notes. You need
I'm just gonna allow things to happen. You take notes today. Yeah.
Yeah,
man,
I definitely take a lot of notes these days for sure.
Yeah.
what's the biggest
what-
misconception you've got lately?
Biggest misconception.
Biggest
I don't know.
misconception I got is shaking seizures are only seizures. People think if you aren't shaking, it's not a seizure.
Yes, people
Not
are.
as bad if you're not shaking.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things
Oh, they're still there.
well, it's interesting because people I meet, like, you know, whether it's dating or, you know, just friends, you know, friend out, whatever, when you tell someone, like, they'll see my bracelet and be like, oh, what's that? And I'll explain to them I'm an epileptic. Automatically they assume that you go into like, you know, convulsions and whatnot, like with people, and I have to express to them, no, that's not the type of epilepsy that I have. It's a little bit different, you know. And you know, it's interesting. They like, oh, I never heard of anything like that before. I'm like, neither did I. You know, so,
Yeah.
but yeah, same thing. I mean, look, I'm 44, so I 40 years I've without epilepsy, and then all of a sudden it sort of just hit. I mean, I was an athlete growing up. I did play college sports and whatnot. I was hit in the head many times, I'm sure. So I don't know if maybe it just caught up to me at this point, but you know, I actually found out the hard way, you know, basically within inches of dying that I was epileptic, right? So
Jesus.
That'd be tough.
Happy you're
You
here.
still do sports and everything?
yeah, I'm still active. I still live my life the way like if it never happened. Obviously, there's certain precautions and
Good.
things I need to do, but you know, I try to, you know, I like I said, I don't want to let it control me. I want to be able to live my life as best as I possibly can.
Yeah, I try not to let it control me. I try to sometimes do things I know that some people aren't supposed to do with epilepsy, just so I can be like, I did this, makes me feel good. I did it,
Yeah.
nothing happened. Yeah, like yesterday, I got on the bus. It was kind of just cool, just being out. It's alone. On the way back, I had a focal. I missed my stop. I found it kind of funny, but it was just me. It was like, oh, it's only one stop.
Right.
It's just a
Yeah.
focal, just a few minutes away.
It's okay.
Instead of a 10-minute walk, it was a 16-minute walk. I was like, yeah, find it cool. I mean, not cool, but calming, and it feels good just doing stuff that
On your
I
own.
know that I'm not supposed to be doing, but I did it because it feels good, and I knew hopefully I can make it home. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think people realize like the simple things that we like. I guess the things that they take for granted on a day to day basis that are a little bit more challenging for us that
Yeah.
we take some
Yeah.
pride in, like doing right. Certainly, like me, like I drive, right? I you know I have not had another seizure where I've passed out, or you know I've gone into convulsions since 2022 when they first started putting me on medicine. I mean, is it always in the back of my mind that it could potentially happen? Well, of course, but you know, again, like I'm not gonna just sit around my house all day long and do nothing, and I'm not gonna like I'm gonna live my life, and what's gonna happen is what's gonna happen.
I sit
Yeah, I was
around
stuck in
doing
that
nothing
phase
for
for a
8
while.
hours.
I was stuck in that phase for a long time. Just stay away from people, just stay in the house.
Yeah.
And I was comfortable, but I figured it's time. You got to start doing something. You got to get out. There was a lot of
Yeah.
people a lot of people told me, something you got to do. You shouldn't do a podcast. You need to find something you can do that'll help you make money. And I was like, it's not a lot I can do. And then when you get a job, it's like you need someone to take you there because you're not supposed to be anywhere alone. Yeah, so always having to ask somebody for a ride wasn't an option. After a while, I was just like, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Who kept telling me don't do a podcast? I was like, hey, people, people don't have a problem sitting around and talking with each other, people who understand you. So I mean,
No, there's nothing wrong with it at all. I think it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
perfect timing doing this.
Yeah, I think this is wonderful. I'll be honest with you. Like, I think this is great. You know, and I'm sure like we all have personalities. We'll get to know each other. We'll fuck around with each other a little bit, right? I mean, that's just what life is about, right? That's what we do, right? We'll
Yeah.
talk about what what our experiences are, what we're going through, how we're feeling, and whatnot, and then get to know each other as friends and stuff like that. I'm all about it.
Yeah, my aunt was telling me, she was like, I'm a psychologist, and she was like, I think you can get some type of government funds for helping people and being like a therapist. And I was like, yeah, that's interesting. I'm
You
looking
could.
for some sponsors, I guess.
You could. I mean, I think helping others is
At
helping
least,
people.
yeah.
Well, helping people with your experiences, right? Giving people a playbook off of your own experiences, right, is a great thing, right? It's
Yeah,
people are dying for that.
I was thinking it'd be cool to like just, if I did have somebody sponsor me, just go see people, like go visit you guys and do it there, do the interview there with people watching, two
Right.
people on one Zoom, and get out. Got to find somebody who wants to do that with me.
Keep
Can't just go out
advertising
and
it.
do that alone.
Keep
Yeah.
advertising it. If you go to see if I go to see my epilepsy doctor, and like nowadays everything is done like via like remote, like we're doing right now. But I mean, if we go to the office to see our epilepsy doctors, talk to people who are there and say, hey, look, this is something we're doing. If you're interested, let's talk about your experiences, how you feeling, what are you going through. And it's a space that for everybody, we could all learn something from each other, which is
Yeah,
great.
There's a lot
yeah.
of
It's
good
like before.
support groups too. If you check out,
Yeah.
you know, around uh, there are a lot of good regional support groups.
Right,
You can check out where
right.
Yeah,
if
this
you're
is actually like really like kind of I'm liking this a lot now. Is just to have people who know what's up with it, you know,
By the way, I think
talk
Mike
to them.
Oxlong is fantastic. By the way,
Thanks.
my
I'm
friend used to.
related to Mike Clitoris.
I did a Mike Ockazich. He was a good one too. I saw once. That was a pretty good one.
But yeah, I'm reading something that says, "Have you ever faked a get out of a seizure?" And somebody said, "I have, but everything my mom asked is a reason to fake a seizure." Wow, I never faked a seizure.
I don't think there's certain things that you don't.
It's just not fun.
No, no, no. It's
I,
not.
I think
I've like joked about doing that sometimes, but then I'm like, I don't want to fuck with fate because I feel like that's just if I make a joke like that and then it's gonna happen, I'm like, God fucking damn it.
It's like I'm a big sports fan, so my friends like these are people that I've grown up with. They obviously know my condition and whatnot. So like we have group texts. So if I'm watching a game or something, someone will say, I bet Espo's having a fucking seizure watching this, right? So I mean that's just it's like I don't take that personally. I think it's funny, right? Like it's just you got to
Yeah.
kind of just have a little bit of levity with it. You know what I mean? So
Do you
I
find
think
it
I
offensive
mentioned
when someone calls you an epileptic?
no, I don't think I've ever had anybody call me an epileptic. To be honest with you, I call myself an epileptic.
Yeah,
When I introduce myself, I meet people. Like I said, I wear the same bracelet. So a lot of times people are like, oh, it's a nice bracelet. What is that? And it's a medical ID bracelet. I'm an epileptic.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
some
I don't
people,
think it's not offensive. It's
no, I don't think it's offensive. I think it's it's
someone
legitimate.
it's if someone is using it like a derogatory sense, that's like different, but no, it's like I don't care. Yeah, I have epilepsy. You can say I'm epileptic. This is fact.
So,
Yeah,
does anybody have photosensitive seizures?
No.
I've never had. I just said with the lamictal, I do have like the side effect of like some more so now since I've raised the dosage is the light sensitivity. I do get.
You ever seen yourself on camera having a seizure?
No,
I seen
no.
I don't
people
think I
have
don't
a
think that's
camera in
something
my
I want to
bedroom.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen two in my bedroom. I got the camera for that reason. Well, not to record it, but my mom to look every now and then, see what I'm doing.
I did meet a woman a couple of years ago. It was very inspiring, actually. She was an epileptic, very pretty girl too. She worked for the fire department of New York, but obviously she wasn't a fire person. She worked in an office and whatnot, and she had very, very poorly controlled epilepsy with seizures and whatnot. And she had a dog that would stay with her 24 hours a day, and she was just a very, very inspiring story. She lived by herself. Her dog was able to sense when a seizure was coming on and knew how to get the medicine to her, or knew how to put her in a safe place, or going to a place where she could fall on. Like, it was just an unbelievable experience and discussion that I had with her. And when I think about it in hindsight of like what I have in terms of epilepsy and what she has to deal with, like, this is a piece of cake compared to what she has to deal with, right? And if she's able to go ahead and have a career and to try to live a normal life, like, that's inspiring. Like, for me, there's no excuse for me not to do the same. That's sort of what I felt when I met her, right? So interesting. That's the only person I think I've met um, that I've actually had some significant discussions with respect to having epilepsy. You guys gonna be on for a
Yeah.
few minutes? I have to jump off for like 5-10 minutes. You're gonna be on?
Yeah, I'll be
I'll be back.
I'll be
All right,
on.
cool. I'll be back. Very good.
Do you guys get disability?
No. I am thinking of signing up for Medicaid just because it's like especially with like just like fear of like med increases and like pricing. So trying to
You think pill prices are going to go up with these
Uh,
tariffs?
I don't know. Because like insurance companies jack up prices like really easily. So I'm kind of like,
I've actually been on Medicaid for a while, so because I, yeah, I was on private insurance when when I was 18, I think,
mhm.
and yeah, and that was some ridiculous stuff right there. But yeah, I've been on Medicaid for a while, so
What's the worst advice you got from someone who doesn't have epilepsy, who isn't a doctor? I think I heard someone say it's my diet. You eat this kind of stuff and you eat this kind of stuff, and talk to the doctor.
Jesus,
He told me it's definitely not keto.
Yeah. I'm a regular practitioner say like, I mean, I've heard some people have success with keto. You could try that if that's like anything. But I think it was more like he wasn't like saying this is a for sure thing. He was just saying like some people have had success with it.
You guys heard of like the B12 supplements for memory?
No.
Yeah, I had a friend tell me about those. He said they kind of help with memory. I never imagined there being such a thing. Yeah.
yeah, there's upsides and a lot of downsides to keto, but I've mostly had to figure out my diet on as I go along. That's been. I'm always interested in hearing out of people's diet because that's been a
Not good.
really, yeah, that's been a really interesting thing as I go along. Yeah, that,
I had a
that's
lot of
helped me
shitty
out.
food.
Yeah.
Even though
Like
you haven't
ramen.
had seizures in a while, do you kind of get auras?
I wouldn't say auras because I just mostly get really intensely dizzy recently.
I get the
That's been
dizzy.
Yeah, that's been the most uh I just yeah my triggers um like like I've said, when I get into intensely crowded rooms and heat and stuff like that, I gotta space out. I gotta get out of crowded rooms.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm really overstimulated. I'm gonna go into the other room and just be away from people for a little bit.
I get you there.
I had
The
like
person that
heat stroke,
asks,
I think, last summer.
say that again.
I had like I think I was about to have like heat stroke, I think, last summer, so I kind of forced myself to go inside and away from a party because I'm like, I can't fucking, this is too much. I can't be, it's way too hot. There's too many people. I need to go lay down.
But stress. He mentioned I forget his name, but he did mention stress, and yeah, when I was in college, I had to drop out for a semester, and I, I was living pretty dangerously for a while. But I did, and I wouldn't advise this to anyone, but getting away from stress is such an important thing. And I took my medicine, and I moved away for a while. I was living in such a stressful environment, and I moved down to Miami uh, for the summer, and there was no seizures for the summer, and it was incredible. I just lived on the beach and there
God,
was
fuck,
no
that
seizures.
sounds so nice. That's
Yeah,
so nice, dude.
I just ate what I want, and I didn't drink anything, but it was just no stress, and I didn't deal with school or anything. It was incredible, and there was no myoclonics or anything, and it was incredible um, dealing with no stress. It was a stressless environment, and I can attest to that. Just getting rid of my family. I love my family, but just um, I can really say that getting rid of stress is so good for seizures. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know if it's just like my situation, but I've come to find out that just kind of stress just kind of comes with the situation. I feel like it's just kind of normal now. Just like I know when it's going to come time to time. Um, Avoid it
you guys feel like you get stressed out more like
easily.
easily?
Uh,
I feel like I just get stressed more easily. Um,
yeah, I think I do get stressed a little more easily. And I had a family member who told me she knows when I'm going to have a seizure. She said I get really passive aggressive. She can tell I'm angry, but I never say it. I'm just kind of beating around the bush at it. Um, yeah.
like you were talking about a few minutes ago, people were like, "Oh, we sit around and do nothing all day." I did nothing on Saturday. I did absolutely fucking nothing. I played Oblivion for 8 hours. I didn't do a fucking thing. I was like, I'm not doing anything productive today. I'm playing video games. I still do that.
Yeah, I get my signs. I mean, my times are just doing nothing and being very comfortable with doing nothing. And
Yeah. I still
yeah,
like go out to do shit, but like, yeah, I'll like go out to the mall sometimes to do like nothing, but no, I like video games a lot.
yeah, me too. Do you with epilepsy, do you actually wait for people to be home to take a shower?
No, not really. Um, I did have a fall in the shower once, but this is when I like first started having them like unprovoked. I had them after like nights out of drinking, and then like after like fourth one, I just stopped altogether because I'm like, oh fuck this, I'm not doing it again. And then I stopped for over a year, and then they just started happening unprovoked. And when I was still figuring out my like dosage of meds, I remember being in the shower, and then I remember being on the ground, and then I remember being upstairs and like really sore. There was like no one. There was like no one there. Like, oh, okay. I guess I had a seizure, fell in it. I went to go take a shower, had a seizure, fell, then walked back upstairs. Just
Is there anyone that you
dong
know
hanging
that
out.
is absolutely going to call the ambulance every time?
Huh?
So is there anyone that you know who's absolutely going to call the ambulance every time?
No, no. Um, they all know. Like, it's like I think that they all know what to do. Um,
Really good support
they
system is the best.
what
Support
was
system going through this is what everyone needs.
yeah my so um I was in the group, as you like might have read, like I had the car crash, and thank fuck I like my family is like just really good. um yeah, I was in the hospital for like a month. I was in a wheelchair for like almost till like winter. um Part of my colon got nicked during the crash, and I had an ostomy bag for like 10 months, and then they finally reversed it. But yeah, without my family, like uh my mom and sisters and my wife, like yeah, my wife and I would have been fucked if we were in a city by ourselves.
Someone, I seen someone posted something and said that they ruin holidays. They've been told that they ruin holidays, and I was like, wow. And she said, my brother claims that I ruin his day regardless of a seizure. And then someone said, I've heard that so many times, I can't even think of a specific time to tell you.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck is with these people? Why? What the fuck is wrong with people?
You ever been told that you ruined someone's day?
No, I am now extremely thankful for my family. Jesus Christ, who the fuck does that? Hell.
Yeah, thankfully I've had a good family too. I would have died if not for my mother. I'd be dead. I could say that, but the, she's been fantastic. Um, my friends have not been good, but they pretty much ditched me completely. But I'm lucky to say I got a good family.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
That's it.
support system is the best. That's
Yeah.
that's the main thing. You guys ever had a seizure on public transit or a plane?
Yeah.
No. Um, I was about to have one, I think, on a plane. This was before they started happening unprovoked, but I'm like, holy fuck. Because it was like a really rough landing. I'm like, dude, I'm about to fucking have one. I do not feel comfortable at all.
You ever
I get
had
my own spirit.
Anthony,
I'm back.
we were talking about seizures on a plane or public transit.
So it's interesting. I fly. I've gone away. I've never had a seizure, luckily, on the plane. But most recently, I went to Nashville in January for a 40th birthday party, and I found myself, I guess, in panic mode, like out of nowhere, just thinking about having one while I was on the plane,
Yeah.
and that sort of put a bad seed in the back of my mind now to actually fly again. So, um, public transportation, no, because I drive mostly. Do I worry about maybe sometimes having one when I drive? Possibly, but cars nowadays, like, they have the automatic braking system. So, God forbid something was to happen, um, the car will kind of brake on its own. So, I know from a safety perspective, that's sort of what I think of. But even just a level of uncomfort, because some of my seizures as well too. I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys. Sometimes I'll go into like tachycardia. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, where your heart just starts racing
It's
out
like,
of nowhere.
yeah.
Has anybody ever experienced that, where they just like you'll be just relaxing and all of a sudden your heart will just start racing out of nowhere?
Yeah.
When I used to drink a lot of coffee, yeah, I
I
Yeah,
had an
had
incident with that. Yeah.
I had
yeah,
that, but I was also working at like a hospital because for a while I did my undergrad in psych, and then I was like, okay, I don't want to go to grad school. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll do nursing. And then I tried working in the hospital as a PCA for a few years, and I kind of um I realized I would get like really uh fast heart rates, and then when I stopped, it was like normal. I'm like,
right.
okay, I think we're done.
Yeah, no, I've had times where I'll just be laying in bed and just out of nowhere my heart will just start spiking, uh, for no apparent reason. It'll just start racing, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling, obviously. And like my heart rate will get into like the 130s, 140s when it's happening. Now, one of the interesting things is like I said, I'll explain to you guys. I have an ICD installed. I have a it's like an internal cardiac defibrillator. So it senses dangerous um, heart rhythms, and if I get to a certain point where it does that, it'll send a pulse through to try to correct the heart rate. If it
Yeah,
doesn't do that, then it actually shocks you internally, right? So again, that's another comfortable failsafe to have. Obviously, I don't want to have to get to that point. It's never gotten to that point, thankfully. As a matter of fact, I went today to go see my doctor. Every 6 months, they pull the data off of the machine and then they evaluate it. And so, I mean, the last 6 months have been good, even with some of those episodes. So I'm not going into a dangerous arrhythmia, but still, it's just an uncomfortable feeling, obviously, right? Because and that to me is more worrisome than losing my faculties for 30 seconds to 40 seconds, right? That, I can get up and excuse myself if I'm out if I have to, or people that I'm close with, I put together like a signal with them that if we're having a discussion, I'll just tap my bracelet. This way they sort of know that I'm having like an episode and that I can't really like respond and I'm sort of like I'm there, but I'm not there. Um, yeah, so those are the two sort of afflictions that I get with respect to my epilepsy. It's like I said, the ability to not be able to communicate, and then the sometimes the fast heart rates.
yeah.
Someone said their pills are making them not be able to have an erection. I've never gotten that. Not from the pills. Well, I've never
Right.
gotten it. So I mean,
I mean, I've had like low sex drive. That's
Right.
kind
yeah,
of
I
why I've
have
been
that.
wanting to
I get
lower.
that. The no sex drive, but
Um,
he's just like, I have a weak erection. Any help? I don't have any help with that.
Well, I mean, so for me, I I think I created a bad cycle. Like I started taking like Cialis. Like when I know I'm with someone that probably gonna have gonna have sex and whatnot, I'll uh I'll pop a Cialis a couple of hours in advance, and definitely no issue with an erection. But I mean, even there are times where like I'm by myself, like I get up in the morning, I'll have a full erection. So I know like physically I can. I think it's more of a mental thing for me now than there's anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. Um,
And what are the selling points from Lamic though? From when I first started was the fact that it says the doctor was like this could actually enhance your sex drive. I can't see that's happened, but
It happens.
yeah.
No,
I
I'd
have
say
read.
it's definitely a mental thing because when I started taking all these drugs at age 12, and mixed that with puberty, and I've been on all these drugs since then, and it's yeah, it's a cocktail of
Yeah,
weird shit
yeah,
you're
no,
doing since then. You like these girls, at the same time you're taking these fucked up drugs, and it's not the equipment. It's mental,
it's
Right.
they're directly tied together, Kevin.
right?
This is how it goes, right? And that's the same
Yeah,
thing. Like I said, like I'll wake up in the morning, full erection. So I know physically my body's working. It's more of a mental thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like I explained to you guys too. Like I'm divorced, and I'm divorced. About 3 years now. It was about a year after I had was diagnosed. Uh, my ex-wife decided she didn't want to be married anymore, right? So then now, I'm back into the dating pool, and you meet someone, and obviously things are going well, and you want to take things to the next step. There's always that worry of like not being able to perform, and then all of a sudden, like they don't want to be with you. So that's the discussion that I had with my doctor at the time, and that's why they gave me a prescription for Cialis. Um, and there have been women that I've dated for several months where I started this way with using the drug for it, and once I guess that level of comfort hits, like I was able to perform without having to take it. So it certainly definitely is a mental thing, 100%.
Yeah. I had a female I was talking to. She would always give me pineapple juice, and then I knew that's what she was getting at.
That's a good pick. That's a good one.
She'd have like the little
Team
cans of
swallow.
pineapple juice, and it'd be like 6 of them. And I'd be like, "Oh, she's picking me up to go spend the night. I see what she's getting at."
Yeah.
She's Team Swallow, huh?
Say that again.
She's Team Swallow.
Yeah. 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 That's probably why she wanted the pineapple juice.
Right.
My wife's not home, so she's Team Spit. She can't. Don't like it.
So, do all you guys work? You guys have professions or no?
Nope.
I'm working right now.
Kind of. Yeah. No more working for me. I hurt myself too much. I fell in the fryer. I got that. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like,
Yeah. Fell in the fryer, and then there's one after that where I had stitches like on the inside of my lip. So I think if I would have hit it any harder, it might have a hole through. But I just had stitches on the inside. And do you know how hard it is for them to hold your lip open while they're doing that?
I can only
Somebody
imagine.
holds in the lip and they're numbing it. So I'm like, yeah. What's your worst injury?
Well, mine was going into cardiac arrest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's probably
Probably the worst.
I got
probably
a
the
lot.
worst. Yeah.
I got a broke my neck, foot, fire. House burned down, and I had a seizure during it. All this house burned down, and
Holy shit.
it was just
that's
a
the fucking
coincidence.
worst
I was
time.
having 4 seizures, 4 grand malls a week, and it was the hottest week of the year. It was 100 degrees, electrical fire. I had a grand mal at the same time. And just shit's luck, and I was passed out at the time.
Where are you from, Mike? Kevin, I'm sorry. Where are you from, Kevin?
Philadelphia,
You're from Philly.
right,
Okay.
right down the street from you. Yeah.
Yeah, not far, about
Eagles.
2 hours. Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it was just just shit's luck, you know. I had other family members home, but luckily, that was a real mind fuck. But I woke up to insurance people and firemen, and yeah, that was weird. But I also fell downstairs, iron stairs, and I had to wear a neck brace for 6 months, and also broke my
I had
foot. Yeah,
a neck brace for a while
yeah.
after the car crash.
I wore a neck brace on the way to the hospital, but not afterwards.
Oh, it's
My worst injury, I guess I've hurt myself a few times. I chipped my tooth. But I think the worst was actually when the ambulance had to come get me. It wasn't really a big injury, but I couldn't breathe and I was turning purple. And since we didn't have a helipad in our city, we had to meet them at the school on the football field. And yeah. And they were like, the ambulance told me, he was like, a hospital bill for this, he's like, it's at least $100,000 just to take off. Yeah.
That's that's like the fucking worst of it. That's so did you have insurance at the time, or
Did I have what?
did you have insurance at the time?
Yes, fortunately.
Good.
Yes.
Mike, do you work?
I do. I work at the dental office scheduling patients. So
Okay. You're married?
yep.
I saw the wedding ring on you. Okay.
Yeah, 6 months now.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
You met a good woman. She's accepted you for who you are, and
Yeah, I don't know where I'd be without her.
Yeah, that's the thing that fucked me too. Was that we went through a whole lot with my medical stuff. But the truth of the matter is that I didn't let it stop me from being a husband and a father. Right, I did what I had to do. And after all we went through, it wasn't like she had to take care of me. Where I would say it was too much for her. Just decided one day she didn't want to be married anymore, and that really set me back. You know.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I
Frustrating.
have good family and friends. I have a good support system. We co-parent well, so I get to see my kids quite often, which is great. And they're proud of me. Like they did something at the school. I forgot. I don't know what month it is, but they wore purple. I guess for certain. I guess it was an epilepsy day or something like that. Um, So yeah, they went to school in purple, and all the kids were asking, "Why are you wearing purple today?" And they explained, "Oh, my dad's." So it's not something that they're ashamed of. They're proud of it, which is cool. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad my kids aren't ashamed of mine. Um, yeah, just having it. Sometimes you do feel like being a burden,
Right.
holding
Right.
them back. I can't do this, I can't do that with you because we don't have someone to go with us or stuff like that. Sometimes that gets to me just not being able to do stuff with them because of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The limits that you have to be able to do things. Right. So But yeah, I mean, look, I always express to them when we do something. With Daddy, he's got, here's my bracelet. If anything, I tap. They're like, yeah, Dad, we know. We talk about this all the time. Like they're very, it's, I have two daughters, so obviously there's a sense of, protection that I have. But,
Yeah.
um, but they're good. They're good kids. They understand. They know what to do. And I knock wood. I hope they never have to do anything.
Yeah. My
Yeah. So
oh,
with my kids, when they are around, the ones that are under 13, what I do is I write my information on a piece of paper and I call 911, tell them I'm 100 and this pounds, I'm this tall, I had a seizure. I told them, tell them if I wet myself or not. Yeah, and I wrote the address down. Haven't had to use it yet, luckily. But yeah, I have six, and my oldest daughters are about to be 16 this weekend, and one's 15, and then my son is 14. Then I have three under 13. So yeah, those are the ones I write down the information for, so they understand. And yeah, but my son was younger; he didn't quite understand it, so he did kind of make fun of me a bit, and I kind of took it as funny. Then I kind of made him understand that this is just what's going to happen for the rest of my life. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it doesn't click for some. It takes a while for it to click with him. I think my nieces know. I don't know how much they know. They know I had the car crash and that it was like she made like a funny joke. It's like, you can survive a tree, you can survive anything. But yeah, I don't know how. I know my nieces, the twins, they're like about to be 13, and they were like 10 when they were able to understand a lot easier. The other ones, I don't think they know really.
Have you and your wife discussed having children?
Yeah, we definitely want to. Things right now, though, it's kind of we have to just get a lot of shit with like finances sorted first. So
Yeah,
we're
no, I understood.
okay.
No, I get it. Yeah, you guys are newlyweds too.
Yeah.
6 months. I mean,
And we were like, okay, we should start now, because I'm 32 and she's like 29. But yeah, it's like shit. I think we gotta wait.
right.
We gotta get like finances sorted. We gotta get this house squared away. We've got like debt and credit cards and shit. We gotta get a comfortable spot.
Right.
I want to try and get a better position.
right.
I've just done fuck all to do it, to actually do something about it. That's on me, but
Right.
yeah,
Oh, if you're saying
this is hard. It was hard. It's hard to find work that's like pays well.
Right.
that.
Well,
Even though you don't have to mention it on a job application, do you guys still mention it? I do.
First,
I did.
yeah.
I'm gonna stop now. I'm not gonna do it anymore.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye,
Oh.
Kevin.
Oh wait, no, I said I'm not gonna mention the
Oh.
on the application anymore.
right.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Um,
not. It's not.
But I probably was gonna leave in like 10 minutes, but
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I was working with the same company for the longest time, and a lot of the people knew what had happened to me,
yeah.
and so they're they're very accommodating to me. If I mean, like I work more on like the engineering side of the utility company, so like my work is really like more office related. I mean, there are some instances where I have to go into certain electrical places and whatnot, but the corporate policy is 3 days a week in the office. They're pretty lenient with me with that. They don't really enforce it that much with me. It's all documented in reference, with HR and whatnot, in case they wanted to start, auditing people's time and whatnot. But I've been there for 21 years at this point, and you know, they're pretty flexible with me, which is good.
It's good. My employers are really good with it. I literally had the crash like fucking 3 months after I started,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Yeah, we can keep you on for like, still keep you on as an employee, and so you have like the insurance
Right.
and whatever you come back." And they just asked like to pay the, what's it called, what's taken out for like an employee per pay cycle, and I'm just like,
Right.
yeah, fuck it, I'll sign. I got $1,300 right here. Go for it.
Right.
If you were applying for a new job, would you fear any sort of discrimination or
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
I think it depends what you apply for, right? I think like I don't know what your specialties are, what you guys are looking to do and whatnot, but a lot of jobs nowadays are remote, or at least partially remote anyway, right? Where I don't think it makes a difference at that point, what you're if you have an affliction at all, So
Yeah.
um, I guess it all depends again, like what you're gonna do for a living or what you're looking to do
Well,
for
I
a
got
living.
sort of a trade.
Yeah.
Um, I got sort of an IT trade I'm
Okay.
going into,
That's good.
but I'm still, it's still a competitive trade. So, eh, like, I'm still nervous that I feel like everything can set you back, you know?
I can understand why you would feel that way, Kevin. I get it. I mean, maybe given the trade that you're in, you don't have to. I mean, if you're gonna be, if you're gonna have like a remote position, right?
Yeah,
You
okay.
Yeah.
know, you
It can be
you know,
accommodating. Yeah.
yeah, that may be something where, in the beginning, you do what you have to do. If you make some good relationships and you feel like it's necessary to like express to people that, then maybe that could, at that point, because then if they decide to get rid of you for that reason, now you have a case, right? So,
Right.
It's more of a matter of what you put on the application. That's what I'm
right.
saying. Um, like I'm just nervous. They find ways to uh not hire you because of that. That's what
Yeah.
I'm nervous about.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot, like, I think you might have said it earlier, positions will be like, oh, do you have a license or something? Like, why the
Yes,
fuck does
that
it
yeah,
matter
that's
if I have a means to get there? And it's like,
Right.
yeah.
I
Mhm.
feel it can just be manipulated into a way of like, oh, you have epilepsy. Yeah, this is a job that requires to be have a license, so we can't hire you. Sorry.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's a lot of places that's not their intention, but that can be very easily manipulated into,
Right.
oh yeah, it's just a part of the job. um which, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm reading something that says, does anyone else struggle with the loss of words? The more seizures I've had, the more difficult it is to find anything but the simplest way to state my intention. This is probably tied to loss of memory, and I know many can relate to that, but has anyone else experienced this frustrating mess? This happens mostly every day. I can't think of words during an in-person conversation or when texting, journaling, or writing. I look up synonyms and ways to rephrase sentences constantly. Also, forget things like movies, shows, books, music, etc. But I've learned to live with that and laugh it off. I know it's tied directly to memory loss. I get that too.
Yeah, I've definitely had it where I'm still able to like convey my point across, but I work in a scheduling office, so I talk to people like all day.
Right.
I definitely can get tripped up on my words pretty easily.
Yeah, that happens to me
Not
as
that
well.
It's
Same.
not that I don't know what to say or that I can articulate it. It just takes me. It can
Yeah.
take me a while because I'll be like, and this kind of thing, and then it's like, oh, okay, this is what you're supposed to say.
But
Yeah, exactly.
I get real tongue tied reading. Like Like I can read perfectly fast in my head and read a book or a page or something. But out loud, it just keeps getting boggled. Like I took this one test one time, a GED test, and it was horrible. They were like, you got 45 minutes to answer, I think like 20 something questions. I answered 4 because I had to keep rereading the page because I forgot. Every time I'd read the question, I'm like, okay, let me read this and find out where this part is because I had to keep reading it over and forgot what I read and all that. So I was like, I'll do this when I have time, maybe, or like maybe take notes fast enough or something like that. But test taking became a problem.
I forget names a lot. Forget the names of things.
Oh yeah.
You know. That's so. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know if that's as a result of the epilepsy or as a result of the medicine. It's hard to say. You know.
Say that again.
I have a difficult time remembering names and things like that.
Me too.
I'm just curious as to
Same.
whether it's a direct result of the epilepsy or if it's the medicine, right? So, you know, it's more so nowadays since I've raised my dosage, which I'm just going to go ahead and assume that maybe it is just too much medicine. Maybe I need to tone it back a few milligrams and see how that works. But you know, this challenge that I've had over the last couple of weeks with respect to like this fogginess and this dizziness and this pressure I have in my sinuses and above my head, and you know, not really being able to exercise because of the dizziness that I'm having. Trying to exercise today and almost putting myself into a fucking arrhythmia. So yeah, I mean, I'm sort of in the middle of a pretty difficult time right now with respect to I don't know what the next move is going to be, right, and I don't know what the next step is going to be. So I'm just going to wait till my test on Friday to the EEG, you know, wear it for the 48 hours and see what kind of information comes back from it.
Hopefully they get like good results.
I'm hoping they find something. I'm hoping they say, "Oh,
Yeah.
hey, look, we could see X, Y, and Z. We know exactly what to do about this." You know what I mean? The worst possible thing for me would be like, "Oh, it's clear." And I'm like, "All right, well, what the fuck are we? You know, what's the next?" Especially not being able to get an MRI till July.
Yeah. That
You
was
know, I'm
a
not. Yeah,
Hartford Cleveland clinic because I was there for like a week and they were only able to trigger one seizure, but I talked to my doctor and she was like, they weren't able to narrow it down as to what area it was.
right.
And I asked like, it's fucked up. I but just with like the United CEO, I kind of was like, hey, I know they were like you because apparently United was using like AI to just deny claims,
Right.
and they were having like doctors that were not like neurologists or epileptologists sign off on it, or if they were like neurosurgeons to like approve or deny claims. And I was like, did that have anything to do with it? She was like, no, we had enough. We were able to find like enough data to determine. Like, unfortunately, it's just they couldn't. It was like should they had enough data to go off of
Right.
making a decision, but it's just they weren't able to like with the information they found. They weren't able to they weren't able to narrow it down, but they had enough information that if it was something that it could be narrowed down to, that would be it. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No. It does. What about ears ring? Any guys ears ring at all?
So yeah, I get that ears ringing thing time to time.
Yeah.
I've been getting
right
that a
now,
lot lately, not
my
related
left
to
ear right
seizures.
now.
Right.
Sometimes I have to ask people, do you hear a ringing? I get that ringing noise.
Yeah, every now and again. Like I was just getting it now, actually, as a matter of fact. Which, again, from reading, is another side effect of Lamictal.
I'm not getting a ringing in my ears lately, but like I'll definitely just be like walking and just sitting there and just I can tell that there's supposed to be more sound coming through this way
Right.
than the left ear. I know they're supposed to be equal, but I'm like, why the I know there's some
Nope.
other
Oh,
sounds
it's also
supposed to be
me in
coming
my
in.
left ear. No, it's me too.
And it's just
I
like,
can't.
why the fuck can I not hear like why can I not fully hear like subtle background noises with this ear? And then it like goes away and then comes back. It goes away, but it literally will come out of like I'm just sitting there and it's like my fucking ears pop. Like, am I going on a plane? Why can I not hear like
Hey, new guy.
way?
What do you take?
I take Lamictal.
Lamictal?
Lamotrigine, yeah.
No, I was talking to. I take the same thing as you. I take 200 milligrams twice daily. I'm talking to the new guy.
Oh, there's a new guy here? Okay.
Canned tuna.
Canned tuna?
I've gotten issues with that before. Never thought. I'm
I'm
on
on
a
a
bus and
bus.
it's loud. Okay, I
Oh, okay.
understand. Take Kepra, only 1 gram. That's
Is anybody on multiple medicines or or everybody's on single right now?
Yeah, I'm on like 3 in the morning and 4 for a night.
I'm only
you-
on Lamictal.
Yeah, I'm only on Lamictal myself right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I hear about a lot of people who are taking like 1,500 milligrams of Kepra, 500 milligrams of Lamictal. I was just like, that's a lot. Like, but I don't know. There's situations. Everyone's situations vary. But
3
that's
in a VNS.
yeah, the VNS or the ENS, you'd say.
3 in a VNS.
Western medicine is the cause and solution to all of life's problems.
Yeah. Most people are on multiple. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has anybody's doctors talked to them about the potential for too much medicine actually worsening things?
Did I say that
No.
again?
Like if you're on too much medicine, could it like make things worse for you as opposed to helping?
Like
Oh.
side effects wise. Yeah. She didn't like talk about it, but I feel like that's why my neurologist was okay with me lowering the dosage for my lamotrigine because I'm tired all the time. I'm just like fucking tired. I can't keep being tired all the time. I gotta
Right.
lower dosage on one of these meds.
Yeah, I'm tired too a lot.
Yeah, like the
I feel
fatigue
that.
problem, it gets me a lot. Like sometimes it's just hard to get out of bed. Sometimes it's just I want to lay in bed, but I want to do everything else. But yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes I gotta.
I
mine is
do get the
sleeping.
feeling that they always want to up the dosage, and it's really difficult for them to lower it. But I've been seizure free for 6 years, and it was really, really difficult for them to
Yeah,
lower it.
congrats for
I'm like,
that.
come on, lower it now. It's
Yeah.
time. Lower it. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm like still like paranoid. Like nothing's happened. Like I mean, I had like a panic attack since they lowered the dosage of the lamotrigine, but I'd rather have that than seizure. But I don't know. That's still get paranoid with it. But
I feel like it's all correlated too, though.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, um, the medicine to try to help with the seizure, and then also, having panic attacks. I've never had panic attacks before. I've been having panic attacks the past 2 weeks because I just don't know what's wrong with me.
Well,
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the biggest challenge for me is just I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. And
Yeah,
without
sometimes I don't understand either. I don't understand what's going on at all.
right,
Dude, it. This is from like a fucking like YouTube like a comedy series. Like, so I don't know if you guys watch Dragon Ball Z at all.
no,
Any of
I
you,
never.
but there's like
I've heard of it. I've never watched it though.
there's a group of guys who did like a parody of it, and he was like, they've all died multiple times and have been brought back to life by the Dragon Balls, and he was like, worst part about dying is you never. Sometimes I'll wake up and I don't know if I'm actually dreaming, like waking up, or am I dead?
Right, right,
It's the same thing. It's like, I don't know if I had a fucking seizure, if I just spaced out.
right.
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah, like the space out ones. Sometimes those aren't the worst, but sometimes I hate just the focal missing stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like the time I was like pouring some juice or whatever and had a focal, and like when I came to, I told this story before. When I came to, the cup was just overflowing, and by that point, all I remembered was I wanted juice. I don't remember getting to the kitchen to even start pouring juice, but having a focal in the middle of doing something is
Yeah.
crazy.
I was thankfully nothing has happened while well, no, never mind. Well, yeah, I'm gonna retract that. Something did happen when I was because of the crash, but I haven't done anything to other people, because that's like always my biggest fear, because you have no control over what you're doing in that time frame, and that's what scares me a lot. But there was one time, I find it funny now, and you can
We
laugh, but
always
like
got
my mom
we
was
got
like,
those funny ones.
huh?
We all got those funny ones.
Yeah, because I was like in the kitchens. It was like after the crash when I was like first starting to like kind of use the walker to walk, and my mom was like, "Oh, hey, can you hand me that knife to grab it?" And I just like picked one up, and I was just like, looked at you. She was like, "No, not that one." And I just like kept looking at it, and I like just like put it back in, and then just went to the fucking bedroom, and I just like fucking not zoomed, but like walked to the bedroom, and then just fell asleep for like 2 or 3 hours. They were like, "Hey, do you want some food?" Oh no, I'm good. And they were like, "Do you remember what happened?" No. They're like,
My funniest
"Pretty
story
sure you had a
is
seizure." I'm like, "Oh fuck." Okay. It will up the dosage.
my funniest story would be the time I was at church. Got baptized a few days before, so I was there to do my speech. I don't remember going up there. I remember it's supposed to be that day. That's what I remember. And from what I'm being told is I had a seizure and there's like a long bar, so no one seen me when I fell. They're like, "Where'd he go?" And I guess they said I stood up, and then I was like, "Thank you guys. You guys have a good day." And I dropped the mic and then I walked off. I don't remember any of that. I remember getting back to my seat. Then my family was like, "You had a seizure." Then I was like, "What?" Man,
I'm surprisingly coherent after I've had one, apparently. I'm able to tell people that I had one.
yeah.
I was able to tell the cop or whoever the fire department it was that like helped help me after the crash, and they were like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I think I just had a seizure." Evidently, I told that to them.
You know, when I crashed my
Coherent,
car,
apparently.
uh, when I crashed my car back in 2021, it was interesting because obviously someone called 911 and police showed up and the fire department and the EMT. Uh, the cops were trying to say that I was drunk, right? They were like
That's the part that fucking scares me.
they
Sorry,
were
go ahead.
they were they were like they kind of broke into the car, and I remember waking up and I was sitting I was in the driver's seat, and like I was very very tense, right? So I know that something had just happened, and this fucking cop was being a complete asshole. It's like, look at this guy. He's fucking. So the EMT comes over and he goes to the cop. He goes, "Are you a moron?" He goes, "You see what's on that guy's wrist? He's got epilepsy. He had a seizure while he was driving his car." And they took me out of the car, and and the right people were able to take care of me. But yeah, the assumption right away was that this guy is probably. Meanwhile, it was 11 o'clock in the morning. It's like, I wasn't
Yeah.
driving at night, like coming home from somewhere. So, but
Dude,
yeah,
that's something that fucking scares me. It's they don't
Wow.
they'll oh, what are you
He
doing? Or
said
they won't
the
know
police
what's
Narcan
going
him
on,
twice.
and they'll
well,
just
yeah, I see that. Yeah,
aggravate it.
they Narcan. I saw the canned
Yeah.
tuna. Yeah. Do you guys have that? Like, do you guys have that ready? Narcan?
No, I have something that's like Narcan. It's called Nasalium,
Okay.
and I never took it, but I was told by someone when I was at the Social Security office with someone else who has epilepsy. He said that works to put him asleep after a seizure. Um, I never thought of putting myself to sleep to like not have a seizure, but I guess in the hospital when I come back, I just kind of go to sleep. But I never thought to take that thing at my nose and just go to sleep. Yeah. One time I left the emergency room. It's about the worst situation. Well, medically, I guess. Let's see. I was reading something else. Some guy said he got a felony for felony assault for biting a nurse. So now he's fighting a felony case that he had during a seizure. I was like, wow, it's interesting.
I can't see how that. I can't see how that's gonna hold any water.
Right. Someone said, oh, he said he doesn't think it's going to hold up in court because I think he said he had came back to for like a few minutes or whatever, so they thought he was all good. And I guess he doesn't remember after the biting started and stopped and all that.
I'm gonna book.
Huh? What's the biggest misconception a person has about epilepsy? I'm not sure if I read that already.
I think it's the convulsion and peen one.
Yeah.
I feel like my diet's not the greatest, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta go to the bathroom like all the goddamn time. Shit.
I don't think people understand that there's different levels of epilepsy and different.
Yeah.
I go with that. Yeah.
Different types as opposed to just what they see on TV.
I mean, even like there's still shit that I'm learning about with like different types. Like I know there's like focal seizures. I obviously found that out. And then there's full on like tonic-clonics. There's like myoclonics or whatever. Like there's grand mal, petite mals.
Yeah, I was gonna say petite mal I've heard of recently.
Auras and just the fact that seizures show up on an EEG when I was like completely awake. That took me so long to get my head around. And I still don't get it, and it still makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, what
Right.
the fuck? No, I don't want to think about that.
I keep seeing people talking about when they get a seizure, they get the impending doom. Anybody got that? I never went through that.
Yeah.
I've sometimes
Yes.
I'll
I'm so
feel
sorry.
no, it's okay.
That is
Fuck, dog.
exactly how I get every single seizure. I thought I was having panic attacks until my doctor told me that they're auras I've been having. And I never understood how to deal with them, but it would just come on randomly where I just didn't know what was going on. It just felt like I was about to I don't know, my life was just going to end. And then I would just space out for a while. My heart would go crazy. My ears would be ringing. and then it would just settle down after like a minute or two.
Yeah, that's sort of what that's how that's one of the things I when I know it's coming on is that I get like this sudden level of anxiousness. And then at that point is when I start seeing like, all of the words are jumbled if I'm watching TV. If I'm talking to somebody, it makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
I can't get the words out myself. I'm fully aware of what's going on. Like if I was like I'm watching the Met game right now. Like if I was to have one now, I wouldn't be able to speak to you guys, we would understand, but I would know I'm watching the Met game.
Yeah.
Like it's very, very bizarre. But before that, I would get that feeling in the pit of my stomach, that anxiety. And then I would know right away it would come. So, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
I always hear about the impending doom, but I never get that. I guess I get a weird vibe that something might be coming on, but never thought of it as an impending doom.
Yeah.
Well, I guess yeah, you might think something bad gonna happen. I get those where I think it's like a precursor sometimes. I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling good. This is telling me I need to go sit down. That's what this vibe
Yeah.
is.
I've had that where it's like, okay, I don't think I'm having one, but I think I need to go sit down.
Right.
I've had anxiety attacks like a couple times. Like I thought this last one I had, like I thought I'd had one recently, like a few weeks ago. I was like, fuck, I don't remember. I kind of like blacked out a little bit, but then my wife said I was like grabbing my chest. She thought I was having a heart attack, and I was like, oh, okay, then yeah, it was just a panic attack. Okay. I can live with that. I can deal with a panic attack.
Yeah. What's the
Seizure,
difference between a panic attack and anxiety attack?
huh?
What's the difference between a panic attack and anxiety attack?
I don't know.
I think they're pretty much the same. I think they're just different ways of calling it.
I think like a panic attack, it's like, I don't know, from what I've read, it's like it mimics the symptoms of like an actual heart attack, whereas anxiety attack, like it's kind of the same thing, but I think like panic attack mimics the symptoms of like can mimic the symptoms of a heart attack, because I had one in college too, and like I had to get this girl I was seeing at the time take me to the hospital. She was chill though.
Has anyone's neurologist ever told them to avoid weed?
Um,
That was actually a good question. I was going to ask everybody here. Do you guys smoke weed?
I get too fucking paranoid now.
Oh, do you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it also depends on like the strand that you get too. I've been having nothing but sleeping issues for like a couple of years now. Pretty much since I moved out of the house when I got divorced. So I mean, a lot of times they don't want to give you sleeping medicine to go along with what you're taking, right? Because they could interact with each other. Both my epilepsy doctor and my neurologist are all about it. They're like, smoke a joint, take a couple of hits, see how that
I mean,
makes
I
you feel.
kind of attribute the fact that I've smoked weed for the last like 8 years, why I have had still 24. Because I feel like that's helped me more than it's hurt me.
How long you been taking the meds that you're on now?
I stopped taking them a while ago. I didn't like how they were making me feel, and they just wanted to up them. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna start you low, like a gram." That's like the lowest we start people out with. We'll increase it since you're still having seizures. I just looked into like what people said about taking Keppra for a while and like what it does to them over the years. And it kind of made me scared. They're talking about like vitamin deficiencies and just memory issues and stuff they were having, and it scared me. And so I stopped taking it, and I've just been working on really being healthy, like stop vaping, stop ingesting nicotine, like stop drinking. I eat super healthy now, and I don't drink water and stuff. and I haven't had a seizure for the longest time without taking my medication, so I'm hoping it's helping me. But they don't know why
I
I'm
was
having
gonna,
seizures.
yeah, there was, I see you were on the bus or the train, so there was no reason to ask, do you take public transit? But have you ever had
Yeah.
a seizure on public transit?
No, no. I mean, I crashed my car, and that's the only time like people in public have really seen me having a seizure. Apparently, there are like 8 people all
Names.
watching me seize out in my car. But the crazy thing is, I remember the car crash. Like I can distinct. I remember thinking in the moment, "This is a dream. This isn't actually happening." And I woke up in the hospital, my family all around me. Like, yeah, you had a car crash, or you totaled your a seizure and totaled your car. So that was interesting. And then
Yeah,
I've
no, you're
had
not the
weird
only
ones
one
where
who
like,
crashed the car. You got a few
yeah, I
other,
heard other people
few of
talking
us in
about
this
it.
group and few of us in that thread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember getting ready
But
to go
then,
over to my mom's house to do yard work when it happened, and then I don't remember anything after. And walking the next thing I know, I'm in the hospital. It's been like 3 or 4 days, and I'm
yeah,
still really not sure of what's going on. My body's just trying to like cut out any non-essential functions to like keep me alive.
Has anybody's
yeah.
doctors tried to get them onto the ketogenic diet?
My
Um,
dad's trying to get me on a ketogenic diet, but protein's the thing that like my taste buds has been affected after my last seizure. Like food just doesn't taste right, and I can't eat meat. I've gone completely vegetarian because to me
yeah.
it's just disgusting. Now it's been like this for like a month.
Okay.
I've varied my diet over the years. Had to perfect it. You know, I actually do I eat a lot of vegan stuff, but that's like heavy cruciferous stuff. And
Vegan vegan stuff can be pretty
yeah,
tasty, honestly. I've had
yeah.
um a buddy got like a vegan buffalo chicken pizza, and I'm like, dude, this tastes exactly like a fucking buffalo chicken pizza.
I try to just avoid carbs. A lot of like sugar stuff. That's just the bottom line. I can't eat
Yeah.
like, but I still do eat it.
Yeah.
I mean, once in a while is good. I mean, I just, looking at all different avenues at this point, different things to try. I mean, like, the ketogenic diet, I mean, I do like the food that you can have. It's just very, very strict though, right? So it's like,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
You ever
I mean,
heard
the
of that
interesting thing I
epilepsy
read,
pillow?
say it again?
You ever heard of the epilepsy pillow?
No.
It's $80. It's for nocturnal seizures.
Huh.
I mean, I don't need it, but it's a lot for a pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got sleep. Pretty sure I've got sleep apnea, so I gotta
You
get
guys
that
ever
sorted.
considered the surgery?
Huh?
You ever considered the surgery?
Um.
I told myself I'm
No.
not getting any more surgeries.
I'm only just kind of now realizing, like, okay, I think I got to do something about it. I gotta set an appointment with my doctor, but apparently my wife, like, I woke up and she woke me up because I was like gasping for air. I was like, "What?" Like, Eamon, you're not breathing. I was like, "Oh no, I'm fine. Oh, let me just go back to sleep." I was like, "No, Eamon, you're doing it again." Like, oh, okay. Oh, 1 minute.
You ever been sitting next to someone and they keep asking, "Are you okay?" Like they seen something that you didn't see?
Yeah, but that was when I was having the focals and not aware of it. Like I was driving in the I was driving, and apparently I just like kind of stopped in the middle of the road. Thankfully it was there was really nothing going on that day in the town, but I was like, "Are you all right?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why are you asking?" And then there was another one. We were visiting her family in Rhode Island. I wasn't driving; she was. We were going to get go to like a Dunkin', and then she like started asking me like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, I didn't realize I'd been doing something. I'm like, "Yeah, why do you keep asking me that?" Yeah, I didn't realize until the crash what a focal seizure was, and I've been thinking about that after that, and I was like, dude, I was having these for fucking years, and my like neurologist didn't diagnose it.
Yeah, I was having focals, and I've been having focals for like the past 10 years, and I just didn't understand what it was. So I didn't even know it was a seizure. I just thought maybe I just blanked out for a second. And then I told my no, before I told my doctor, I found out in one of the subs that focal seizures are actually a thing. And then once I figured out that, I was like, they're starting to explain the what's it called, the stuff that happens or whatever. And I was like, oh, I've been going through that. And they're like, oh, that's a seizure you've been going through. And then they explain the clammy feeling and the myoclonic and all that. Sometimes you just get a real clammy feeling, a bad vibe. Like, yeah, appetite goes away and everything. So yeah, once I knew that, I called my doctor and he was like, yeah, you should have told me this. And I was just like, I've been going through this for like 10 years, bruh. And I didn't know what was going on to tell you something was wrong. And yeah. Like we could have did something to your dose or whatever. And now I'm gonna see him tomorrow, and he retires in 4 days. So I've been dealing with him for 20 years.
Real quick, man. We gotta cram it in.
Dealing with this man for 20 years, and gonna change.
Damn. I hope that replacement's good.
All right, man. Well, good luck with your appointment, and good luck with the EEG that you're having, because I gotta go now. And everyone, good luck with everything. So,
deuces, Kevin.
See you
Friday.
Good to chat with you again.
Hope to see you again, Kev.
All right, take it easy, everyone.
All right, guys.
I'm stuck at a restaurant right now because it's pouring rain outside, and I get to my favorite thing of walking home. It's either walk home 12 minutes and get completely soaked, or hopefully wait. It looks like it's coming down.
Yeah.
I haven't got to ask you much questions yet.
Hey, I apologize. I was just not in a great position. Just got on the bus. Actually stopped raining, so it's perfect.
You ever had a seizure in public?
Just the one. Actually, yes. I see. I've most of my seizures are me full. I don't know what the name for them really is, because I've had different types. So like the full-on seizures, you lose consciousness for certain couple minutes. But I've had one at school where I was just in class, and then all of a sudden I remember like my heart rate kind of like increasing. I don't know, like a kind of panic attack. But the next moment I'm throwing up in the hallway, like throw up down my shirt into a trash can. And I had no idea how I got there. And I just asked my one of my peers that I sit next to, and he just said, it didn't look really weird. Like you just looked in a rush. You kind of like ran out of the room really quickly, and that's all. But yeah, that's the only one in public. And I didn't go back into class because obviously I'd thrown up all over myself, and I just stayed out in the hallway. My teacher actually came out after class looking for me because he noticed I didn't come back, and he walked me across campus to my dorm to make sure I was like okay, and make sure I was comfortable. But that's the no one really saw it, and it wasn't, I don't even know what happened.
Do your meds make you drowsy?
I stopped taking them. They made me hella drowsy. I was just yawning constantly, especially after the first month. So I basically went bankrupt after my second seizure. My first seizure, I didn't know how medical payments work. I didn't know how bills work. So I paid about $4,500 of my savings to my hospital December 31st. and I had another seizure, totaled my car, paid about $3,500 from that, and went completely bankrupt, essentially. And so the idea of spending $150 per hospital visit just with a neurologist to tell me I don't know what's going on or suggest more medication for me, I couldn't afford it. I literally just didn't want to, couldn't pay, didn't want to pay. And I couldn't afford the medication to begin with either. So I just kind of stopped taking it and focused on being healthier. And it's been nice, except I'm just I don't know, the panic attacks are coming back more. I got diagnosed with PTSD from a therapist, but she also thinks it could be auras. It just seems like no one has an answer for you, no matter what. Like no one has a straight answer.
No.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't quite understand the aura ones. I haven't had anyone 100% explain it to me, but it sucks. I heard.
It's still hard to wrap my head around that those are actual like seizures.
Yeah, I didn't know that
What
until
the
literally 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like I just thought it was like a panic attack I was having. And I thought maybe I had tinnitus or something like that or whatever, because my ears would be ringing. And no, it took me a year and almost 6 months to figure out like I've been having seizures pretty much every day. Even if just a small one like that. And then yeah, it makes it so hard to work, but they've been getting worse and worse, honestly. And it might be because of the medication, not taking it, where I'm having like multiple panic attacks or auras every day.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think the meds have worse side effects than the actual seizures.
That's how I felt. Yeah.
That's what it
I
was
feel
for
like
Kepra.
I feel like if I just had seizures, I might have better memory. I don't know.
Yeah,
I blame the memory on the pills. Yeah, for some reason.
If I was guaranteed to just have the focal awareness seizures without having to take medicine for the rest of my life, sign me the fuck up. I'm in.
hmm
Right.
But you know, the fact that since I have had ones before that have gone to other sections of the brain, there is no guarantee that that can happen. So I'm sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, there was one emergency room doctor that she thought that maybe
I
I
think we
should
lost
get a brain
Cantona there.
surgery. She said I should get a surgery because my memory was it was going bad too early. And I'm 35. She said I'm losing memory too fast to be this young. And she suggested a surgery. And she was like, she's gonna take off a little piece of your skull, and then we're gonna put a needle and suck out the little pockets and some little pockets in there or something like that. And I was just like, nah, I'm a pass.
I mean, one of the things I've been looking at too, because you know, it seems like from what I'm reading, like temporal lobe epilepsy is one of the more highly drug resistant ones in terms of epilepsy.
Yeah.
So I mean, the other options they talk about is I think Kevin had one was a VNS, right? That's a surgery, but also like if they can pinpoint where the lesion is that the seizure is starting, they're doing like an ablation procedure nowadays too, where they just basically go in with a needle and they sort of kill off that section of where the seizure is starting. It seems like more and more hospitals and more are becoming more competent at doing that. I believe um, maybe the Cleveland Clinic, maybe the Mayo Clinic were other some places that were really like the gold standard for this. But now I've saw like in New York, like Weill Cornell and NYU was starting to do it.
I go to Cleveland Clinic. They're dope as hell.
I was even thinking about just trying to go myself, even from New York, just to see what would go on. But it seems like I'm not at that point yet because I've only tried one medicine so far. Apparently, they want you to try like multiple medicines before they make a decision or they make you know, that you're actually drug resistant. So, you know,
Does anyone
I'm
get like the metallic taste in your mouth sometimes?
no, my taste buds are pretty good.
I get the same smell. And like I know the aura's coming, or I know I'm getting aura when it's like the same taste and feeling and smell in my mouth and like nose area every single time. And I have to I try to like take deep breaths or fight it off because I don't, it's weird, but it's not really metallic-y. It's just the same deja vu taste, flavor, and feel.
Yeah, every time I get like the metallic taste in my mouth, it's like a lot of things that I get that I'm just like, this might be a precursor. So let me sit down and then sometimes things happen and most times they don't. But a lot of times I'm coming to find out that some of these things are actually seizures and that was the seizure instead of the
Yeah.
precursor. Which is very interesting. Yeah, it's interesting learning more, because getting to know people and learning what other people are going through has been very helpful.
This is actually the first time I've ever heard or talked with people who also have epilepsy. In a year and a half, I've never gotten the opportunity to even hear from people.
Me too.
And yeah, my mom's best friend from high school, apparently she has seizures. So we set up a time to talk tomorrow. We'll go into stuff. But no, this is awesome. Thank you for letting me join. I apologize
Yeah,
for
dude.
probably making some noise and stuff, but thank you.
No, it's all good. I actually, I'm gonna have to split. When's the next time we're gonna hop on? Friday?
Yeah, it's just great talking to people.
I just
Just
see you
because
guys
everyone
will see me
understands. It's not explaining.
I'll be all hooked up Friday for my EEG, so
Huh?
I'll get on so you guys can see it.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I see you.
Um,
Yeah, I gotta go 11 o'clock in the morning. They'll set me up, and I gotta wear it for 48 hours. So it's pretty interesting. You guys will see me all wrapped up and stuff.
oh,
So I'll give
nice.
you.
Nice. I got
I
some
don't know if you
photo.
guys. I
I
don't know if
got
you
some
guys have ever
photos of that
taken
too.
one. I don't know if you've ever done one outside of
I
like
did
the
that and
hospital.
I hated it because I have hair, so it's like
Right. Yeah. It's annoying. It's
they just
annoying.
put that
It
little
was
stuff there.
expensive.
I kept
Yeah.
I kept fucking
Oh my
scratching the
God.
nodes off, and I without realizing. They're like,
So
I
I'll
had to
see.
get a sitter for the whole week I was there because I kept picking at it. They're like, stop. I was like, oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not looking for. I mean, I've worn them as long as 72 hours. She only really wants me to do it for a day, just to sort of try to capture the current symptoms that I'm having. Um, so it shouldn't be too bad considering I've done it longer. So for 24 hours shouldn't be too bad. But I will see you guys on Friday with it all set up, and
All right.
I hope you guys have a good 2 days. And I really appreciate the opportunity to come in and to talk with you guys. It's been good. It's been refreshing. It's been sort of easing, right? To have these
Yeah.
discussions.
100%.
So thanks guys, and we'll talk Friday.
No. Thank you too. Absolutely.
Tuesdays and Fridays.
You got it.
Hey, thank you for the invite, man. I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry I came in late and I know I was a little loud and stuff, but no,
It's
it's
all right,
awesome
man.
getting to hear about. I literally just found r/epilepsy last night. I was like, fuck, man, I just want to rant about everything. And then you invited me to Epilepsy Universe. I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
No problem. Yeah, being able to have people to rant to feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
just
you're
people who
ranting
understand a
and
little
they're
bit.
understanding. Like
Because there's
some
still that
sites you can
feeling.
rant and they'll just look at it like, he's
And,
mad, he's not feeling good today.
Yeah.
well, that's the thing. It like feels like sometimes epilepsy isn't that crazy enough that you're allowed to rant about it or something like that. Like sometimes it just doesn't feel like it's appropriate for me to be complaining about my epilepsy. Oh, I have to commute some extra time for work. Well, other people have to do that too, or like some people can't work, and it just sometimes feels shitty. Not shitty, but like I don't know. I wish I could complain a little bit more about it,
Yeah, I
even though
think
I should have that right. I just feel like I don't.
No, I feel
yeah.
you.
I don't feel like they push epilepsy awareness enough, and they don't feel like it's not a big deal in the disability world these days.
Yeah.
Epilepsy is the worst thing from big deal. They think, oh, we can just go on about our lives like right after, like, oh, you done? All right. No,
Yeah, it
it does
can.
not
It's
work
not.
like that.
The day's
No,
not any. The day is way shittier though. Like
yeah, you
the
get 8
fucking
hours of the worst
reaction
headache of your
times.
life.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like I was still able to work after I had like a focal, but it's just like the whole like 7 hours, it's just like I'm so out of it.
Yeah.
We're pushing to get past the clock at this point.
No, I just I wake up and it's 3, 4 days of not enjoying food because one, the taste isn't right and you bit your tongue probably a couple times, so just hurts
Oh
to
yeah.
swallow. And then not to mention like unless you want to go pay
Got it.
$100 at the doctor, you're gonna have a headache for the next 7 hours that is just gonna be mind numbing. Where I can't think half the time I'm after a seizure because I just have the worst headache.
Yeah.
Do you call the ambulance every time?
No, I know. My roommate called the ambulance the first time and kind of fucked me over with that because I had to pay for it after that.
Yeah.
And like of course I thanked him. I was like, "Thank you very much for calling the ambulance." But in my head, I'm like, "Fuck me." And then of course I got an ambulance for the second one because I crashed my car as required. And but I don't know. And then like my parents have offered to help me, but even then it feels kind of shitty to take their money. Like it feels like I should be dealing with this myself. Like I'm a grown adult, but I don't know. It just
I
doesn't
mean,
feel like a disability, even though it is.
I
Yeah,
had like
I try not to let it hold me back, but then there's a lot of family who feel like you're disabled. You can't do much.
My family understands more than I do. Exactly.
yeah, no, dude, don't turn it away. Like it's like
Yeah.
my wife's sister did a GoFundMe after I had the crash, and dude, without if that wasn't there, like I would have been fucked because I had my out of pocket max 2 years in a row, and if that wasn't there, I would have been fucked for the first year, and then the second year I had to like negotiate a lower price to like the hospital, or like with that like the Goshen or my like area's neurology center, like they're like a overall company or whatever. I had to negotiate a lower price, and like I still ended up paying like $7,000 for the $8,500 max. So like,
Yeah.
still paid a shitload.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
didn't.
I literally,
It only made it slightly less worse, but like, yeah, no. If I didn't have that help the first year, like I would have been fucked. Like doing it by myself, I wasn't able to. I had to negotiate to like get a lower price. Like I can pay it all on this day if you do it.
I mean, I was a 24-year-old healthy kid. I played sports my entire life, like zero issues whatsoever. And so I got like marketplace insurance, $20 a month because I was a student for like a $6,000 deductible, just the worst insurance. And of course, I don't really know how insurance works. I don't know how medical payments work, but I had the seizure right before New Year's, paid $5,000 and then deductible reset and had to pay another full $6,000 by the end of the year out of the
Dude,
pocket of
fuck
getting.
that.
And
Jesus.
yeah, my entire savings, I worked 3 jobs all through college to pay for it, everything. I had like $6,000 saved in my savings account and all of it gone, plus loans from my parents. And they're like, "Oh, you don't have to pay us back." But at the same time, it's not right. Like I owe them that money. I'm gonna pay it back to them.
Got you there. You live alone?
Yeah, I live alone.
Oh,
I
so
know
you
it's
pretty
probably
much
Nice.
got
not.
most of your independence
I
back.
know. Well, lived alone since I've been having seizures, basically. Like when I had my first seizure, my roommate, we were just moving out, so I didn't really have the opportunity to like make a change. I'd already signed the lease and everything. But yeah, so I've been living alone this entire time, and I know it's probably not the safest option, but I gave a key to one of my neighbors, and I told him, "Hey, if you don't hear from me, check up on me."
Um, I read something that says, "Have you accomplished anything since epilepsy that you're proud of?"
I graduated college, or I finished college, and
Yeah.
and I got my insurance license so I can sell insurance. I'm not a scumbag when it comes to insurance though. I'm not working for like Allstate just selling shit policies. I work for a good company. I'm proud of what I do there. But at the same time, I'm just happy to be living a normal life as much as a normal life as I can. That's something I'm proud of.
Me too.
When's the last time you had a seizure?
Me?
Me? Or me?
Anybody?
It depends on what seizure you could, or like full on convulsions. I don't know what the name for those are. There's so many different names.
I
I
think it's
literally
Grand Mall.
Grand Mal. The last Grand Mal I had was end of middle of March after my brother's wedding, and I pretty much have like a seizure every day in terms of just
Oh,
like an aura or like
Yeah.
something like that, just an aura, or I lose consciousness for a second or something, or just it's a dissociation. It's like you were saying it right. It's like you'll be watching something, you're watching something, but like you can't talk or like interact or do anything. You're just kind of like there in that state.
yeah, I've had seizures like that to where I'm just kind of there, and
Yeah.
some of them where I've had a tonic-clonic, and I'm just like looking wherever I'm looking at, I can see, but I can't react. I'm just
Yeah.
going with everything. I'm gritting my teeth and
And it kind
watching
of feels like
everyone
everything's
panic
too
and listening.
serious. I don't know. Like, man, I know the exact feeling though, because I get those constantly, or I get those all the time. And I can kind of think back to like the first aura I got. I was just driving down the road and I like pulled down my beanie or something like that, and it just hit me. This like wave of deja vu. My ears started ringing, and I thought it was just a crazy panic attack. And then a month later, I had my first grand mal, and since then it's just been on and off.
Yeah, the first one I had was a grand mal, I believe. How long you said
Sorry.
you've been having them?
About a year and a half now, so not too long, but right when I turned 24, basically. I'm 25 now.
Yeah, I'm 35 now, and I'm going on 20 years soon. It's been 19 so
20
far.
years. Wow. Hold on, give me
Right.
one moment.
3 years.
No,
I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a
sorry
piss.
to hear that, man. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad
It's
to
all right.
see. I mean, you're here, you're
I'm here able to
happy,
tell my story.
talking with people, telling your story. Exactly. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
You
there's
said you
always
have
a bright
family. Do
side
you
to it.
do you still with your family and everything? You got,
Yeah,
or at least those close to you.
I
I
have
got my
zero
mom.
independence.
You what?
Zero.
Zero independence. No, I'm
Zero.
that's
Negative
something I'm
zero.
worried will happen. But at the same time, I am lonely constantly. It's something I kind of wish would happen because then I would have someone there.
Yeah, support system is really good. That's a
Yeah,
big thing, support system. Um, some people they do make really bad choices when they don't have a support system. Um,
100%.
sometimes I'm in a situation where I feel like I don't have a support system, and yeah, it's always good to have one though, or at least one person to call.
hmm
Someone who's
I
just gonna listen.
I call my dad almost every day, and he's someone who'll just listen to me. I'll rant about whatever I want, and he'll just listen. But I'll talk to him about something new health wise I'm trying to do for myself, and he's not going to make me feel silly for trying it, or he's not going to make me feel embarrassed for bringing it up or anything. He's going to support me the entire time and hope that everything I'm doing is just helping myself. The biggest thing is I just need to cut every vice out of my system. Like I still put a Zyn in every now and then because I was addicted to nicotine prior to everything, but it's hard.
Do you ever cry afterwards or have anything like that?
Cry?
Cry.
Oh, I've cried more in this last year and a half than I've ever cried in my entire life. Like it's been the most emotional year and a half of my life. Like I thought I had brain cancer for the first time. Like I was like, I'm a 24-year-old healthy kid. The only answer is brain cancer, like or brain
Yep.
tumor or something. So That was terrifying until they did the MRI, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, you have something in your brain. You have a cyst there." And they told me it's a ranky left cyst that it's not the cause for the seizures. It's in 15% of people, or like it doesn't go away. But it's just the uncertainty. Like, I don't know. I didn't have enough money to go to the doctor to get medicine after a couple grand malls, so I just have to endure the headache for 7 hours. I'll take
Oh
ibuprofen
man.
and hope it helps, but like I didn't even have $100 in my bank account after my accident and stuff to go to the hospital to get help.
Yeah, I try to just drink a lot of water and
Mm-hmm. Try to
yeah,
fall asleep again or something. Like try to
drink a
sleep it
lot of
off.
water, maybe smoke a little bit. Yeah.
Without weed, I don't know where I would be right now, honestly. Like weed is seriously the thing that helps me out completely.
Yeah, it
Dude,
helps with my appetite and it helps me sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And
dude, the last time my wife and I did like cookies, we started watching The Wicker Man, and we had to turn it off because I'm like, dude, no, this is way too fucking realistic. I can't watch this anymore.
The Wicker Man. Wait, I've heard
Like
of
the
that. I just
original
can't.
one.
Yeah, yeah. It's that old. Well, I gotta look up a picture of it because it's like in my
Dude,
head, but I don't.
it was so uncomfortable to watch. I'm like, I can't. I gotta fucking turn this off. Everything was going great until then.
Yeah, yeah.
you ever you ever got
Christian.
arrested while having a seizure? Like woke up in cuffs?
Nope.
Ever
I
broke the law on accident?
not that I
Well,
know
not on
of.
accident, but
Dude, that's what scares me. It's like cops don't know how to de-escalate when shit like that happens. I'm like, what if something happens and I get like fucking um like I just get fucking plowed by the guy? Because what was it? I can't remember the guy's name. He said like the cop was like saying is he was on drugs, and the
He
MT
was.
was like, no,
Mm-hmm.
you fucking idiot, he had a seizure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I. This was the worst situation I've had where it just was someone who I had to take my licensing exam. Really strict about stuff there. So you're supposed to drive over, but you had to bring your birth certificate and some other like legal documents. So I brought my briefcase. I show up with my coat on, briefcase, keys, phone, everything, because I bust there. And the guy just looks at me and goes, "Why'd you bring all that? I don't even know why you brought any of that." And I'd like look this guy in the eye and just tell him like, "Hey, I have epilepsy. I had to bus here." And he just didn't give a shit. He had no care in the world. He's like, "Well, you can't have that in here. If it doesn't fit in the locker, you're not gonna be able to take the exam." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You have to go put it out in your car." And I had to tell him again, like, "Dude, I bust here. I have epilepsy. I cannot drive. What can I do?" And I had to bend my briefcase and shove it into the locker. And man, it just, I don't
Wait,
even
what
know.
was this?
For a licensing exam, like for my
Oh,
insurance, like
oh,
the guy just
insurance
refused to
license.
like be okay with, or like I don't know, he refused to understand that I couldn't drive, and it was just so disrespectful to me. He just looked at me straight in the face and, "I don't know why you brought that. You're not gonna be able to take the exam."
Yeah,
It's like, well,
I
dude,
think the
what?
guy had sand in his vagina. I think that man just had sand in his vagina.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that
Someone
was a
pissed in his Cheerios that morning. That's I. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I've never had that happen. I've had like
Yeah, I just
really.
spent 2 hours busing up there. Like, that, and he's about to tell me I had to go home. I wasn't gonna be able to take the
Yeah,
exam.
I was like, I'd be like, dude, I don't fucking tell this to a prospective like a guy we're trying to hire. We look like fucking morons, dude, saying this to somebody.
And luckily, I will say, I am lucky. My briefcase is like a bendable one, so I was
Yeah.
able to bend it and fit in there. If I had like an actual briefcase, I would have been actually fucked.
Oh,
yeah. Next to
I mean, if someone had that I'll be like, damn, this kid is prepared. Yeah.
Right?
It's
I
like,
thought he
yeah,
was
it's
gonna.
like you're showing up prepared. You're aware of like you have to do this go through these extra steps to just do it. I'm like, hey, this kid's doing at least getting his shit done. What are you guys doing? Nothing.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I took every precaution I needed to ensure I'd have all the documents there without losing them, and still wasn't good enough. I don't
Yeah.
know.
What would
It's
you
just
do?
saying.
What would you do if you got a promotion, but you needed to work night shifts, but you can't because the change in schedules, and you know how that goes. Epilepsy. I was reading something where someone said they're up for promotion, but it's a night job. They're changing their shifts from day to night, but it might conflict with their epilepsy.
I mean, if I could do it, but like I would have to actually stick to that cycle. Like I would be sleeping during the day. Because a lot of a lot of nurses like do night shifts, but they'll still like sometimes they'll be awake during the day to go do stuff, but it's like no, I'm working my sleep schedule around this. Like I'll hang out with you in the wee hours of the morning. But
I've noticed changes in I had a grand mal after I like the latest I've stayed up since I had my first seizure is like 3 o'clock, and I had a grand mal that happened, and since then I've it's been like 12 o'clock the latest I stay up. I don't
I've
risk
stayed
my
up for a
sleep.
long time. I've stayed up for like till 5 a.m. and stuff like that. Lose
Yeah.
track of time, doing a lot of stuff, video games, all kinds of stuff, and watching
I stayed up.
movies. And I'd be like, I gotta finish watching this movie.
Yeah.
Is it hard to remember like movies?
No, no, not
My thing
really.
is remembering shows. It's like I have to binge watch it because if I wait till next week, I might have to watch the last episode over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like if a new season comes out, I got to go back and remember what happened last season. So I got to go back and go to that because last season ended 8 months ago or something like that.
That's
I
the
have
thing
to
I'm
like space it out sometimes because I like binge watched a show recently and I'm like, okay, I feel like I didn't retain a lot of that, but a lot of it blended together as an anime.
That's something I'm
Yeah.
worried about is like my memory. Like that's something I haven't dealt with yet really is memory issues much. A little bit with Keppra when I was taking it in my first couple. I can't remember anything from my first few seizures or what happened those days. But at the same time, like that's just something I'm really afraid of. If I do keep having seizures, I just I
I
don't
don't
want
think
to.
it's, to be honest, I've talked to a lot of people and we don't think it's the seizures. I think it's the pills.
Okay.
That's me personally, and a few other people I've talked to said they think it's
Yeah.
the pills.
No, I've read that as well. Like the Keppra
Yeah.
people had said it's caused memory issues for them specifically.
Yeah, but
I
while you do have good memory, someone told me about taking B12. He said
Fish
his is
oils
genetic, but B12
every
helps
day.
him.
I take fish oil every day.
Okay, yeah, I need to start with the oils and the
Fish oil and
B12.
magnesium glycinate.
Okay, good, good.
Magnesium glycinate's a good brain. It's something that's found in stuff, but it helps with like relaxation and de-stressing in the brain, which is nice.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just what I've heard. Like my vitality doctor told me she sent me over stuff. And then ashwagandha. I started taking ashwagandha, but I haven't really noticed much of a difference with that.
Yeah, it's crazy how you said they Narcaned you. That's like the
Yeah.
most unaware thing that police can do. Like they know nothing about epilepsy and they think you're just overdosing and
Well, they saw my bong sitting there probably and were like, oh yeah, he's probably doing some meth or I don't know, like heroin and Narcan me. And apparently I came back and started fighting them. Like I started attacking the EMTs and then they gave me ketamine. I just remember waking up in like the deepest K-hole I've ever been. Like I've taken ketamine before as a high schooler, but man, thought I was in limbo sitting in that hallway. Like I had tubes coming out of me. I thought I'd been shot. Like I literally thought I'd been shot and was like on death's door. But I don't know. It took like 10 minutes. I started calling out to a nurse and someone came over and told me I had a seizure. I just remember asking them how, just over and over. I just couldn't comprehend that I had a seizure. And I
Yeah.
still don't really comprehend how I had a seizure.
Um, this just for like to try and make some levity. So for the ketamine, do you guys watch South Park at all?
Yeah.
There was like
No, sorry, really quick. The ketamine was
Oh.
the best part about the experience. I will say. Go ahead.
Yeah. I had like, well, there was just the one episode where the doctor was like, "Nurse, get 100 milligrams of ketamine stat. And get something for the patient."
I'm a big proponent of ketamine, honestly. It's an antidepressant. It help me at least.
Every
Granted, if
time I
someone
get
had
it, when I get in
good
the ambulance, the first thing I ask for is Ativan.
Ativan, all right.
Yeah.
It takes away the pain, the headache, everything instantly. Then you're like,
See,
oh,
I've never
okay, I like this. I'm gonna
I've
go to
never been
sleep. Wait till we
awake
get
in
there.
the ambulance. I've always just woken up in the hospital.
Yeah,
Already got the ketamine in me.
I hate waking up like before the ambulance. I mean, I hate waking up from a seizure either way, but waking up at the hospital, you missed a lot.
Yeah. I'm like, what day is it?
But most of mine, when I come out of it, they're asking me, do I know where I am? Do I know who he and she is? Do I know what day it is? And sometimes they're like, you want to walk or you want to get on the stretcher? Sometimes like, I want to walk. Sometimes I'm like, no, just let me get on that stretcher. Bring that over here.
Turn on the prices right there and just let me lay here.
Yeah.
There's nothing I want to do more than just watch TV after I have a seizure and try to fall asleep. I can't.
Yeah.
Right. It's like sometimes when I try to fall asleep after a seizure, I can't. And
Because I'm afraid I'm gonna have another or something. That's what happens to me. I feel like I'm just gonna double up.
mind racing.
Yeah. What caused this one? Oh no. Like I told you guys, like my taste was been messed up since one of my last grand malls. Like rich foods, meaty foods and stuff. I had a hot dog and it tastes okay in the beginning, but as it gets to the back of my throat and I swallow it, it just turns to like a gross fibrous flavor that is just unenjoyable and it takes over the entire meal.
Yeah.
And it's just been like that, trying to figure out.
I haven't had the issue with taste, thankfully, and sorry you had that because that's gotta be rough. My brother-in-law had that with like COVID.
Yeah,
He said
that's the
everything
first thing people ask.
tasted
COVID?
well, he said everything tasted like rancid for like a solid like
Oh.
I think like 6 months or like a year. He like lost weight. He like didn't want to eat food. He was tired all the time. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the rancid or the foul taste because that stuff's
It just makes foods unenjoyable. I used to love Sonic, used to love food just in general, and now my first thought is that even going to taste good at all, or should I just have some more oatmeal? Because oatmeal tastes like oatmeal.
Yeah, like I took my mom out for her birthday and I started like eating my food and then I started getting really bad hot flashes and clammy feeling. And then I was like, we're not gonna leave. I was just like, I'm not feeling good, but go ahead, eat your food. I'm gonna take mine home. And I picked it because I really wanted it. But after that, I was just like, oh no, I'm not feeling good right now. Sucks that I'm feeling this way after I'm sitting here looking at this, and now I'm gonna have to reheat it and all kinds of stuff.
I feel that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Those like the auras I would get is like a hot flash. You're sitting there, all of a sudden You start like sweating, your heart gets crazy, you're like on
Yeah,
edge
it's
for
like
a
sometimes I can
second.
hear my heartbeat.
Yeah, you like you hear your blood coursing through your body and your ears start ringing a little bit. Or maybe just one ear, maybe it's just the right ear or something that starts ringing.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
get that the one ear,
Yeah.
that one ear ringing, throat hurting.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah. One of the best things about seizures is it stopped me from vaping. Like I stopped vaping once I started having seizures, and I will never go back to vaping.
That's good.
Yeah.
Vaping is.
Well, I mean, I looked it up. The number one cause for seizures is nicotine, like even higher than photosensitivity.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Damn.
nicotine and alcohol are the two highest causes for seizures.
I didn't realize nicotine was. I know alcohol is like.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
found
I
that
know about
out
alcohol.
the hard way. At is.
I mean, my first seizure I had was like the day after my mom's wedding, where we all drank a bit. Probably had something to
Yeah.
do with it.
Um. I started having them after going out, and then I stopped for like over a year, and then they just started popping up out of the blue.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all right.
I mean, that was kind of the same for me. Like I drank a little bit, I vaped a ton, so I was like, maybe it's a nicotine overdose and like mixed with the alcohol. And so I stopped vaping for like 8 months, but they just never went away, and they honestly were getting worse and worse. I was like, all right, it's gotta be something else.
Yeah, vaping is. I I hate the vaping industry because it's like now marketed as like, oh, it's a healthier, and like, no, it's not. It's still nicotine. It's still not. It's still bad for you.
Yeah, I mean,
And now, for
nicotine
if anything, it's more addict. Like
nicotine's not
people.
terrible for your brain. Like nicotine's a nootropic, which like in small doses there are beneficial side of like or things with nicotine, but every way you
Yeah,
ingest it into your system, through your lungs, through your bloodstream, everything, it damages your body. If you could inject it straight into your brain, it would be a relatively safe thing, like great drug, but you get in your
yeah,
blood system and it increases your cortisol levels, your stress levels, your blood pressure, and then that ultimately causes seizures and shit.
yeah. I mean, I'll smoke a cigar for special occasions every now and
I'm
then, but
afraid to.
I hate I hate just like how vaping has become so popular. I could go off on that for a while because it's just like, oh wow, I'm smoking this like uh new flavor thing, but I'm like, dude, you realize this is just tobacco getting you addicted
Big
to
tobacco getting,
like
yeah.
I mean, I like I used to smoke cigarettes like a lot in college. Like, dude, I would fucking
Oh
plow
yeah.
through. But like, vaping is still just a replacement for cigarettes, and
Yeah.
it's like I hate that it's become such like a big.
Yeah, it's like they're catching the people who wouldn't be smoking cigarettes with the vaping. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, I'm so much cooler than people smoking. Yeah, no, I mean, I say that as someone who was like that. I vaped for the longest time. I was like, oh, it's so much safer
Yeah, no,
than,
dude, I smoked
and it is
cigarettes all the
safer than
time.
smoking cigarettes for sure. Like, you're not, there hasn't been linked to like lung cancer and stuff like that yet, really. But at the same time, it's just not healthy. Anything you're putting in your body that's not oxygen isn't healthy.
Yeah,
My doctor, he never says stop smoking, but he always asks me would I like to stop smoking and do I need help and do I need help finding a program? He never says stop smoking. He's like, do you need help to stop smoking?
My
yeah,
my doctor says, hey, if like towards weed, he says if you think it's helping you, I'm not going to tell you to stop doing it. He's like, I'm not going to say necessarily it's helping, but he said if you think it's helping and it's not hurting, I'm not going to tell you to stop.
Right.
I get too paranoid. I can't do it anymore.
I've been smoking for the last 10 years of my life every single day, and again, I feel like that's half the reason I wasn't having seizures prior.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was smoking for a very long time. 35, a long time.
35. Oh yeah. I
High
not even
school,
kidding. I
for that.
lost my pen on my way
I
home.
wish I had the same effect as everyone else does. It's just I get paranoid with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I had that. I wish it worked for me. It doesn't though.
I mean, I get a little anxious with it, but it's more the anxiety of like people not liking the fact that I smoke or something. People thinking it's gross or getting in trouble for it. Because I've been smoking since I was like 15, so
Yeah, I
all I
remember
knew is
the first time I well, not the first time I smoked because it took a few times for things to click, but like first time it actually worked. My buddy and I were like on the way to go fucking get gyros, and he had like a um, God, I can't remember the name of the band. It was like some jam band that was playing, and I was just like looking up at the fucking like clouds. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Then we went to go get gyros, and I was just sitting there. I'm like, dude, they're gonna realize we're high. I was just thinking that in my head the entire fucking time, and then I just kept eating. I was like, they're gonna fucking realize we're high, man. And then I
I mean,
just kept going with what I was doing.
honestly, they were probably high back there as well. They were working in a Euro shop and what? Um,
You ever had a blackout seizure and woke up somewhere you weren't supposed to be, I guess?
blackout seizure woke up.
I woke up somewhere, I guess, well, not I guess. I was at a rehab down the street from my house, and I was in there telling them that this is my house and get out. I was like, this is my house. Get the F out of here right now. Luckily, not luckily, but I guess one person there, he had seen the ambulance so many times come to my house that he knew who I was. He's like, oh, that's a kid from down the street. One guy, my family. Yeah, because that could have been very bad. They had the
Yeah.
right to shoot me.
Yeah.
They had the right of way.
Yeah, wow. Wow. No, I mean, I feel like other than the one I had at school, I haven't really woken up somewhere else other than either in the hospital or on the floor of my room or something. Um, I don't know. I guess it is something I never thought about, like the fact that yeah, I could theoretically just um wander somewhere I shouldn't be, wander into someone's house or something at any point.
Been there.
Yeah.
Oh my
People's
God.
houses. Bad situation. Like I
Opened up a
said,
new
you
little
get
fear
killed
for
like
me
that.
there.
I
No,
went
I'm
in
just kidding.
someone's house, or there was this one time I was like, I blacked out January 15th. Um, and I was playing video games, and some friends told me that I was crying for a while. And then they said I disappeared. But they said when I was crying, I was still playing and I was still just going along. They were just like, we just muted you. I was like, okay. They were like, you're still playing. They was like, then you stopped moving. So we unmuted you, but I was gone. And when I came to, I stayed on the fourth floor. When I came to, I was on the second floor with no shoes on. And this guy that had passed me, um, he looked familiar, I guess, because I'd seen him before, but I didn't know him. I got up, he walked past, I followed him. He kind of just kept looking back, like, you know, what's going on? Then he got to his door, he put the keys in the door, and I stopped next to him. He opened the door, I walked in. Another situation where I could have got really hurt. And I'm glad that I did not. And I told him, I know somebody here. I went in his living room, I sat down because I wasn't feeling good. I did not know what was going on, but I wasn't feeling good. And
Dang, yeah.
he took, and then I left, and I came back the next day and apologized. But that was a really bad situation. Like I said, it could have been worse. But I knew something was wrong when I was in his house, and I figured out I had no shoes on. It was like, what's going on? Uh, why don't I have shoes on? Yeah.
I I once I once had a seizure, like, so I haven't really woken up somewhere or gone somewhere I shouldn't be, but one of my seizures, oh, it was way too rainy, right? I'm so sorry. Let me go back and quickly. Um, I had a seizure while on the phone with the recruiter from the military. I was trying to join the Marines, and one of the I was just on a phone call with him. All of a sudden, I wake up on the floor of my room. I have a text from him saying, "Hey, we got disconnected. Give me a call back when you have a chance." And called him back. And he told me, he's like, "Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. Like you just stopped answering my questions, but I could hear you moving around in the background." I was like, "Oh yeah, I was having a seizure, man. I'm sorry." And he's like, "Oh no, no, you're totally fine, but." I mean, I'm just going to tell you now, they're not going to be taking you if you got epilepsy or you're having seizures. I was like, yeah, I was just going to try to kind of keep it on the DL until it came out, but that's understandable. But it just stinks. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just funny that I had one on the phone
It's
with him
like,
and you could
that's
hear
all good,
me.
man. I'm gonna be totally honest. So you seem pretty chill. They're probably not going to do it.
Yeah, that was pretty
Although
much what
I
he
love you,
said.
man. You seem cool. I don't know if they're gonna go for it,
Yeah.
Um,
dude.
you ever
That
had someone tell you that they're traumatized from you having a lot of seizures in front of them?
Luckily, I really haven't had a seizure in front of someone I know, and I would have been traumatizing. I was dropping my friends off at the airport when I crashed my car on my way home after dropping them off. I had literally just dropped them off and I was on my way home and had my seizure.
dude,
My
I think about that still. Hello.
hi.
Like
Hi.
if I had someone in the car with me or took someone with me in the crash, I that's
Oh, I
something
would
that like
never.
I don't know if
Yeah,
I would have been able to live with.
yeah, it's the reason I'll never drive again. I'll
Yeah.
never.
Were you diagnosed after your first seizure?
After my second,
Me too. Actually, it was after my third I was diagnosed.
my second was my car crash, and they're like, well, there you go, epilepsy, and seven
Yeah.
thousand dollars later, still no answers. They're like, oh, it's probably just stress. Talk to a therapist.
I
It's like
was
there's
having seizures for most of my life, and it was just focal, so just auras and petite malls where I'd have consciousness but not be aware. And they diagnosed me saying, oh, it looks like epilepsy at 8. But I ran through a couple of neurologists because I moved around, and one of them pulled me off my medication completely, said I had migraines. And I ended up having a
What?
grand mal in front of my entire math class in high school.
Jesus, I'm
And
so
then
sorry.
and then boom, finally I found a neurologist who pushed for more tests, and I got diagnosed at 19, 20.
Yeah, I had a seizure in class. I guess that was my first one at school. I had one at 5 when I got in my car accident, and then I didn't have one until I was 16, and I was in what was it, web design class, and the first one they thought nothing of it, and then the second one after that I was diagnosed, and they said I would have to drop web design, and there's actually someone who got in touch with me, and he was like, "Last time I seen you, man, you were cramped up under a desk having a seizure," and I was crying. It's like, wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that situation even happened. I didn't see you after that. He was like, "Yeah, we didn't have any classes together after that," and yeah, that sucks. It sucks
Well,
just
just
seeing other people how they feel like they might be a little traumatized afterwards. Some of them I feel for, and some I don't know.
My wife saw me have one, and that was really hard for her.
and it it's I don't
I
know.
understand.
It's like I definitely feel for them, and like it's got to be
Yeah.
hard being on the other side, but um I don't know that I'm like considering driving again, like sparingly, but when I was like really, I'm still like up in the air, and when I kind of felt like I was not being like pressured into it, but they were like, well, if you have one for like, if you haven't had one for so long, maybe you could. And I'm like, yeah, but like you were there
California?
to help with the fallout, but like having that happen to your body and like having that shit to happen to your body, it's like, you know, after a crash, it's like you don't really deal with the aftermath of that. Is like, though you're there to like help pick up the pieces, like it wasn't your body that had to go through it. Like that
Yeah.
was fucking.
I don't like that a lot of people don't take seizures serious and the after effects in consideration.
No,
They just think,
they did, but like it's just they.
well, there's some people who just feel like, oh, the seizure's over. We can just walk away. You go about your life type stuff. And some of those times, so I feel like some people, me sometimes, need someone to be around afterward. It's a little more comfortable.
I get that way as well, where I'm like not lonely, but I just don't want to be alone. Like I just need someone there with me. I need to be talking to someone.
Right.
Since I got diagnosed, I have not slept alone.
How
Like
long ago did you get diagnosed?
I had my first seizure at 8,
Oh,
and I'm 24 now. Up
okay.
until I
But you
moved,
said you didn't get diagnosed until you're like 20, right? Like you had your
they
first at
yeah
8 and then
yeah I had my first seizure at 8. They suspected something, but never caught anything on the EEG until I was
mm-hmm.
19,
Hmm.
and that's when it was really solidified.
What are you taking?
And what?
What are you taking?
I am on 350 twice a day lamotrigine, 100 once a day Excopri, 150 twice a day Vimpat, and 5 milliliters twice a day Epidiolex, which is a cannabis-based medication.
Ooh.
Yes. I'm on 250 a day Lamictal or lamotrigine
Mm-hmm.
twice daily.
Yeah,
I heard
and
someone I heard someone say that basically we're living our lives from dose to dose, 12 hours to 12 hours. And I was like, that's a good way to put it.
Dude,
mhm.
if we're in a
I just
fucking zombie
had
apocalypse. Sorry, go ahead.
I just had a right anterior temporal lobectomy for my seizures because they were drug resistant. I was on 4 medications and still having focals.
Yeah.
And so they opened up my head and cut out a quarter of my brain.
Whoa.
How'd that go? Better?
It went really well. It just happened April 8th.
Oh, okay.
And I was having about 70 seizures a month before they found the right cocktail, and I'd still have breakthrough focals.
Did
Yeah.
you say 7 or 70?
70.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they cut out a quarter of my brain, and it was already dead. It was gray, peeling away from healthy tissue, full of scar tissue. And the right So it was my right side, and my hippocampus and amygdala were not working on the right side. So my left side took over completely.
Nice. Holy fuck. I think you win. I think you win anything. Jeez, wow, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
When was your last seizure?
My last seizure was a couple months ago, and I just had a big win.
Rats.
And because my seizures come from sleep deprivation and stress, I recently had about 2 hours of sleep because I woke up feeling sick and couldn't get back to sleep, and a very stressful day in college. And this is after the surgery. No breakthrough aura.
Nice.
Nothing. And that was a big win for me because I would have had a breakthrough.
Are your focals bad?
It was just the rising feeling, the rising sensation, the deja vu, and then getting tired.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna go. It's been an absolute pleasure. But I
Right.
gotta head out. Thank you very much for talking though, and thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah. On Friday, I go from 2 p.m. Eastern to whenever.
Sounds good. I'll join up if I'm available. It's good talking though. Take care.
Right.
Nice meeting you. I'm also gonna head out. I'm happy I got to make it for a couple of minutes, but I'll be here on Friday.
Okay.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice
And
meeting you too.
yeah, I'm gonna head to sleep because I gotta go. I got an early day at college tomorrow.
All right. Get your sleep. You don't want to have a seizure. And I hope you guys don't have a seizure until I see you next.
Yeah. Bye, guys.